All right, boom. We are live for, my gosh, what a technology evening it has been, y'all. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to get right back into the podcast right now. Oh, I just brought that up there. Okay. So let's get it going. What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 40 of Beer and Others, the podcast, Adjunct Series, Quarantine Edition. This is the first episode of 2021, so welcome back, guys. We missed you over the holidays. It was nice to take a break, but we're back. We're excited. We're starting big, starting strong. I'm going to introduce the guests right away, not going to mess around. This evening, I am joined by our very own Notion, who is our photographer and audio engineer, and a celebrated guest from a couple years back, Matt Reiner of Rorschach Brewery. Guys, welcome. What's good? Yes. I can't find the buttons
G'day,
to make
mate.
it do that.
Round of applause.
Everybody good?
Hello.
G'day, Matt. How you doing?
Good. How you guys?
Mate,
Chilling.
We've, it's been a trying time, so people who were tuned in before, hopefully some of y'all come back. That would be lovely. If not, well, you can catch it after. So, we might just get right into it because we kind of, for people who are just tuning in or listening or watching or whatever, we got into it was only like 5 minutes, luckily, so it wasn't too bad. Touching on a bit of nonsense. So, we're going to get straight into it. First beer. You guys, I think, already cracked it because it froze right as I was about to crack it. This is the Normopathy. So the question was, Matt, could you tell us about the beer and the name?
Yeah, for sure. So
Thank
this
you so much.
this was the first lager that we actually ever brewed.
Oh, really?
Brewed it for Father's Day 2017, I think.
Okay.
We wanted to just do a nice clean pills, but we wanted to put our own little twist on it. So in addition to Pilsner malt and Saaz hops, we do a little Ella, some Aussie goodness there. And the idea was just to give a little bit of lemon kind of floral character to accentuate the spicy floral Saaz. And the name behind that is just, this. Even when we were first opening, there weren't a ton of people doing a ton of craft lagers. I mean, I know Godspeed opened up and is always killing it with their lagers, but there's not a ton of people that were doing a ton of lagers. So we just said, hey, you know what? Normopathy is like the desire to be normal. And, we just brewed a normal beer for once, so that's what it was.
Sometimes you got to brew a beer that tastes like beer. That's what the kids want.
Exactly.
No, this is phenomenal. Boys, cheers. Thanks again for all the patience. This has been quite the journey. We're going to make it worthwhile, goddammit. This is great. It's got a nice, bready, the malty character is fantastic. First beer of the night for me, I always feel like I get that bitterness a little amplified, like more than it really is.
Fresh tongue.
Yeah, total fresh tongue. It definitely does that. I can definitely get the lemon notes you're talking about there. Got a nice floral nose. It's a little more tropical as well than obviously the typical pills just with Saaz. But would you consider this? Is it dry hopped with Ella or it's just Ella alongside the Saaz?
Just Ella alongside Saaz. We do it in the whirlpool though. So
okay.
It's late hop, super late hop, but not dry hopped with it. So that's I think where a lot of that just nice floral hop character comes through. Whereas we bitter it early with some Saaz and I think some Ella sometimes too. It depends really what we have on hand, but
right.
We usually put most of it, like the majority of the hops, even in this beer, is all whirlpool hops. So
okay, nice. What was the decision to do that as opposed to dry hop? Was it just because you wanted to make it as authentic as possible without really changing the whole thing?
We had we figured we try it this way first, just to see what kind of hop character we got, and then shortly after we brewed the Normopathy, we did a dry hop pilsner, which was called Subjective Norm, which was basically the same base that we dry hopped with. I think it was Sappho or something like that.
Okay.
But we that was our first time dry hopping a lager, and we put something like half of what we would, or less, maybe a quarter of what we would dry hop for an IPA.
Okay.
But it's still like, I think that it just came through so much more strongly, which was interesting. And that's the way that we learned. We use like 10% or less the amount of hops dry hopping lagers now when we do it. But yeah, that was one that we did that way. And then we're like, you know what? I'm not sure if we really like, I'm the biggest fan of just in our process, the way that everything kind of comes together with dry hopping. And then since we've done some lagers that we've dry hopped, which I think turned out really nicely. So, I think it's just all process. But yeah, we ran with the normopathy because it was the favorite, up until we had our Mexican lager out. So.
Right. Okay. Yes, I had the. I think it was the Serenity was the other dry hopped one. Is that right?
Yeah. That one. That one's all Galaxy.
Loving it.
Yeah, it's a good amount of wheat, and then all Galaxy late hop, dry hop. Which I really love that one too, and that one's been a fairly popular one for us as well. We're probably going to be brewing that one again shortly, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Is this? Do you always have a crisypboi available, or is this specific one like a year rounder, or how does that kind of work?
Yeah, we always have one available. We always have the Reminiscence, the Mexican lager.
Okay.
And then we basically always have the normopathy, and then we'll pretty much always have at least something else. We did the Conjecture, which was one of our dry hopped lagers with the HORT 9099 hops from New Zealand.
Okay.
And then Serenity. I don't know if you consider systematic desensitization in that category, but that was pretty much around all the time too. So
okay. So there's always some sort of.
Yeah, usually about a third of our list is lagers. Actually, people wouldn't think that of us, but usually about a third, somewhere between like 4 and 6 of our beers typically are lagers. So
wow.
Yeah, we don't. People don't think about that about us, which is fair because the other stuff we do kind of shadows it. But I mean, I'm mostly drinking our lagers too.
Right, it's a brewer's beer.
Hey, you know what? I like the slushies too.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get there. Don't you worry. Oh, we will. Oh, those are going to be lit. So what we were saying earlier before the internet or my computer brutally cut us off is that when we first did the podcast in 2018, I believe it was, up on the patio there, which was super dope. I've been paying attention to what you guys have been doing. Notion lives close by, so he's always visiting, telling me what's good, sending me the photos, and I was super impressed. He sent me a bunch of stuff, including, I think, the Serenity and some of the... I don't know if it was the Heresy. I think it might have been the Blasphemies, if I'm not mistaken.
The Blasphemy was in there, yeah.
Yeah. So it was the first time getting to try, like, some of the newer stuff. And what we were saying before was, like, even when we did the podcast, you busted out the horchata lager, which is dope because you brought the lactose plus all those, like, Mexican spices and stuff to a lager, and it worked impeccably well. You guys have always... Would you say that from the beginning you guys were always on that sort of, like, I don't know what to call it, like, not necessarily just trendy, but, like, always doing a more innovative kind of wild stuff? Like, that was always the MO for you?
Yeah, I think that was always, like, even when we were homebrewing back in the day, like, we were always trying to do the weird stuff. When we were homebrewing, we never brewed a batch twice, and then when we started the brewery, the only beer that we brewed twice in our first year was our True Serum IPA.
Right.
So we were just kind of doing everything, just experimenting with everything. And, I don't know if it's, just my brain that always wants to try something new and then learn about, like, how it works and why it works, and then kind of move on to the next. I've grown to appreciate brewing certain same beers over and over again, and learning how to improve those as well as a brewer, in terms of efficiency. But yeah, I mean, I always want to, I wouldn't say I'm like, I was having a chat with some of the guys at the brewery the other day. We were joking about some things, and we were talking about the quote, the Ricky Bobby thing. If you ain't first, you last.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case, but I always, like, just, I don't know. We just want to, like, we see cool things. Other people maybe in the States have doing something, never tried it before, but, like, like, wow, this sounds like a cool thing to try. Let's try it, and then we do it. Or, we have some ideas like the horchata that, one is like, fuck, no one's done this before, so
right.
Let's try it. If it's shit, it's shit. If it's good, it's good. If it's shit, no one will see it, and if it's good, then it might be a core, and that's what happened with the horchata. So,
that's so crazy.
We've always wanted to be experimental, and that's, yeah. I mean, I think I always kind of try to take it to the next level in my head and see, what we can do, and, hopefully it comes through. Hopefully people like it.
Right.
The cream rises to the top, mate.
Every time.
Hopefully our ideas are right.
Yeah.
Top of my brain, the good ones.
Hey, man. Yo, the fact that you managed to get a lactose pilsner as essentially a core brand is pretty damn impressive. In the face of, like, you know, the growing... I'm fully on the Crispy Boy train. This is probably my favorite style right now anyway. But in the face of, you know, the super purists who were mad at Team West, what we were saying before about, like, all the Team Lactose people were all like, you know, never, that was like the worst thing you could do. It was put like lactose in the pilsner. And you did it, and it was fire, and it was the core brand. I mean, that's pretty sick. So I feel like I like that you're taking those risks and you're just like, fuck it, and you know, doing those fun things, probably in the face of a bunch of internal pushback, I would imagine, or is everybody on board?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's on board for the most part. I think, you know, there was never, you know, since it's, you know, myself, Mohan, and Chris, and we opened the brewery. You know, there was not necessarily one financial investor that, you know, kind of put us on something, says, you know, I can only brew these things or whatever. So, you know, I think we were all on track about doing experimental things, seeing what people like. Now, you know, over the years, figuring out what it is people like, and you know, you have to brew what people like too. You can only do experimental things so much if people don't like them. Right. But we've been fortunate that it's kind of liked what we've done. So yeah, I mean, I agree. It is kind of funny putting the lactose in that and having it pretty much as a core beer. So, you know, I don't know, you know what, if someone had a milk stout as a core beer, you know, the purists I'm sure wouldn't be complaining, you know, but it's only if that lactose goes into something else other than a milk stout, you know, that becomes a problem. You know?
Yeah, tell me about it. It's a funny thing, like the lactose thing isn't even like as much of a big deal as it was back then. Like, I guess it started to die off last year. It was more of a 2018, 2019 thing. But the now I feel like, and we will get to it later when we drink it, but the Smoothie Sours seem to be making people really... It's like one of the two things. Like, I got purist mates where one of them is just like, I don't care if it's beer. It doesn't matter. This tastes amazing. I'm here for it. And then I've still got other ones who just think it's an abomination. They just can't get past... Like, I don't really get where they come from, but I feel like that's where they're the two camps that I've seen. So... Yeah. Did you ever have a lot of pushback from then the purist types or the maybe older school beer nerds or writers, or, you know, those people who've just been in it for so long and just maybe their ideas a little more old school? Have they come in and discussed it with you or had a go at you or something?
A little bit. I mean, I do hear it every once in a while. Some customers that want to come in and they want beer that tastes like beer. And we say, you know, we've got that. You know,
we got 6 of them.
We've got, you know. But so we like to think we have some stuff for everyone. But yeah, no, you know, sometimes I don't know that I've had any firsthand knowledge or experience, but I know sometimes the more established beer writers, you know, don't necessarily look the most fondly towards lactose in a lot of things, and that's fair. You know, I mean, if you've been writing about beer for 30 years or more, you know, and all of a sudden there's this new thing that everyone's talking about and it overshines, you know, some other like styles of beer that you know maybe deserve a little bit more conversation about. I mean, I can see why you'd be like, oh no, you know what really is great? An English mild, you know, and I agree. You know, I like that style too. Like, I like every style. I don't know. I just, you know, like, there's a lot of people making a lot of great other styles of beer, and so like we just decided to do some weird shit.
Yeah, man.
In addition to the regular shit. Like, you know?
It's a balanced portfolio. Yeah, exactly. You got to bit everything. I always liken it to music. Like, so Notion and I, we've been doing hip-hop music for, I don't want to say how long, it's been a long last time. But that's why we moved to Canada, and because we came up in the 90s, we like rap music to sound a certain way. And when all this new sound started coming, you were like, no, like angry old men. Like, no, this is not, look at these guys, they're mumbling and they're using auto-tune, fuck this. Like, and because it mattered to us since I was 12, younger, right? So we really cared. But for beer, it's been 10 years for me this month since I started this stupid selfie thing in like January 20th or something. So in the scheme of things, that's pretty young. And I don't have that attachment to when there was 3 beer styles. There was, you know, Hefeweizens, Crispy Boys, and Stouts or something.
And
like
ESBs.
And ESBs and a porter and a brown ale and maybe an amber. That's about it. You know? He's laughing at brown ales.
No, they're okay. I do like, you know.
Hey, when you have a good brown ale, Yeah, there's a couple good ones. There's some great ones in both provinces that I actually like makes you think twice about laughing about brown ales. But I guess
it's just funny.
it is just laughing at fucking brown ales. But like I agree with you, Maddie. Like I feel like I can see where they're coming from if you've been in it so long and you've got this old school mentality that all of a sudden it's changing. But yeah, and I feel obviously people like us, we haven't been in it 30 years, so it's like, cool, put fucking lactose in the pills, why not? Let's go.
Chuck some glitter in it. Fuck it, let's go.
Hey, maybe the next thing.
Next summer, let's go.
Yeah, I remember like just traveling a lot for work, and I'd go to a lot of breweries, and a lot of the small brew pubs in a lot of small towns, they always had like 6-8 beers on tap, and it was always one lager, one brown ale, one IPA, one amber, and a porter, and that's like, and all of them had the same kind of pretty much the exact same styles of beer.
Yeah.
They all did them pretty much the same way, and I think that shaped my vision of what we wanted to do with Rorschach more than anything. To be, not that there's anything wrong with that, but that we just didn't want to be that. We just wanted to be a little bit more experimental, and we just wanted to be do a little different things, because I had great beers in all those places, but it just, for me, I think it was more me traveling that it became repetitive, as opposed to people in that town just going to their place that they like that lager and they like that thing. So maybe, I'm just kind of thinking about that now, but maybe that was influential for how we decided to do the beer at Rorschach.
That makes a lot of sense. Was that, when you were traveling, was that just in Canada, or you're in the States too?
Canada and the States.
Okay.
Yeah, it was everywhere. Canada, US mostly.
Okay. When you were in the States, obviously, they were the country that drove the craft beer revolution, essentially, as far as the creativity and the innovation. There, I don't think many other countries had styles and stuff that they invented. It was all usually like twists of something Americans did. So did you get to see that sort of evolution of craft beer during your travels, and then maybe you're somewhere in the States, you're like, yo, what are they doing? What is this hazy IPA thing that they're doing? Stuff like that. Were you privy to all of that, and then you came back here and then couldn't find it? Was that like how it worked?
That was to a large degree of like, well, what happened in my head. I mean, that, like, when we were first opening, it was, we were looking for places in 2015, 2016. We found a place late 2016 and they opened, but that was kind of when I was traveling a lot, like for work with the breweries that I would try to go to when I was traveling, was a lot of like the mixed fermentation and sour breweries, and that was one of the things that like I kind of saw more of the evolution of when I was traveling in the States, was like going down to Jester King and trying the stuff there. I mean, amazing brewery, killer, everything. That was huge influence, for me. And then trying to, going to different places, Crooked Stave and, Russian River, and like just the biggest pinnacles of the pinnacle of like mixed fermentation sour beers, and seeing how that evolved. I remember like after, we had been brewing for a while, and then like the Michael Tonsmeyer book came out with Methods of Sour Beer, or American Sour Beer, American Wild Ale, or whatever it was called. And I was reading through that book, and then they said like they had 10 different breweries. One was Jolly Pumpkin. There was a whole bunch
doing sours.
And I was like,
right.
Yeah, like the mixed fermentation proper sours, sometimes spontaneous, and so like that was really what I was kind of feeling the evolution of as I was traveling, and that's what we wanted to have a huge part in our brewery. And then we ended up in the location that we were in, and we could have like a total of 8 barrels, and we're like, okay, we had a tank dedicated to mixed fermentation sour beers all the way until midpoint this year, basically, where we converted that tank and put it into some barrels, which we'll be releasing this year at some point. But nice. Yeah, that was kind of what my vision kind of was. And then we started the brewery, and just and then when we were starting the brewery, that's when that was with the hazies, and I was like starting to see that become a thing. And we did a trip to Vermont just right before we opened up, and I was like, oh, okay, I get this now. Right. And then so like I think that was still like coming on the scene right in like 2016, 2017.
Oh yeah.
Where that was like really where I was saying. So like we started right away with that, and then like other breweries that we had seen who were opening like started with that, and then other breweries that were doing more West Coast, I think, shifted that way, and that's kind of like the start of the trend in that direction. But Yeah, that was kind of that, and then I've managed to get out of the brewery for a couple weekends over the 4 years, and then we were kind of toying around with the lactose idea, and I went down to New York, and we hit up Hudson Valley on the way back, and then had their stuff, and it just kind of blew me away. So yeah, I mean, I haven't had a chance to get. Actually, no, that's not true. We Ben and I hit up 450 North on our way down to the National Brewers Conference, but that wasn't. They were doing the slushies back then. They were just or maybe they were, but very sporadically. They were doing more of the IPAs and some fruited beers, but not to the extent it was. And then we come back, and then all of a sudden the
blue ones.
Slushies, and I'm like. Oh fuck!
Yeah, they're crazy.
Missed about 6
damn
months.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy what they've done. Have you seen those, Brad?
No.
So there's a brewery in Indiana called 450 North, and they have people like what sort of flavors have they done? It's ridiculous. I think I would almost argue they invented the shit pretty much.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's cotton candy something. I think I have a can somewhere. Someone brought one for me 6 months ago or so. And there's cotton candy something, and just crazy.
I have heard of them. Yeah, I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah,
I've seen them. Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, they're the big the trade boys and stuff. Really get into
have those
them.
Crazy cups.
Yeah, and they got all the
cups.
And the super colorful cans and stuff. And
yeah, gotcha. I've followed those. Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yeah, they super changed the game, I guess, with that. I never really followed the history of Smoothie Sours, to be honest, as far as where that came from and how that sort of got popularized. Because I first had it at the Vale in Richmond, not last year, the year before, 2019. And I wasn't even really a Smoothie Sour. It was just an insanely fruited goza, which would be, I couldn't believe, the one I gave you, Brad. And I couldn't believe that was pouring that thick. I was like, what is this thing? It just was like pulpy fruit juice. And I guess that was... when are you referring to the 450 North? What time frame was that?
When we went down, so it was the 2018
so it was back then.
Conference.
Okay.
But they hadn't started really doing that, or maybe they had a couple, but it wasn't even in my mind. When we were there, the beers that were the popular ones they were selling out of that brewery were one that was 420 juice is what one of them was called, and there was a couple more just marijuana themed names of IPAs that were danker IPAs that were New England style or hazies, but
Gotcha.
That's what they were kind of more on the front end of, and then after. I think. I think they were. I'm sure they were doing this a little bit of it, but now when you see their releases, it's just all the slushies, right? So
yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
so that would put slushies back to probably mid to late 2018 or something, because I think the Craft Brewers Conference is April. So if they're really kicking it off, that means in Canada, I only saw them here in Quebec at the start of last year, start of 2020.
Yeah.
When did you start doing it? I don't want to keep... I know this whole podcast fucking you about Smoothie Sours, but... hey, if we... and it goes where it goes. When did you start doing them?
I think the first one we did was the Blasphemy, and that was in April, I think. It was shortly after the shutdown.
Okay.
It was one of the first batches that we did after the shutdown. Because before that, we were kegging a good portion of our beers, especially at that time of year for licensee, and we were just kind of shifting mostly to short cans. So it was an idea that I wanted to do for a little while, and then once the shutdown happened and we had no outside distribution, and it was just bottle shop, we're like, all right, well, everything's going in the can anyway, so let's just put it in the can. Because those things they don't go on draft. You can't pour a beer like that.
I was about to ask.
It's got to be in the can.
Okay. Yeah. Is that just because it's too thick for the lines?
Yeah, I mean, all the fruit, you could do it potentially if you had, let's say for a festival and you were pouring the whole keg that day. But if it's sitting in a keg fridge for, a couple days or longer, all the fruit will settle out and then it'll clog the line, and then, it's a nightmare. We've had enough,
couldn't be getting proper pours or anything.
Yeah, you couldn't even it depends. I mean, there's some different taps with flow control and stuff that it would properly get stuck even if there was a little bit. There's some that are just the regular taps, but Other way, you would be like either just like literally just chunks of fruit to start, and then it would just be a regular beer afterwards.
Okay, just the way that kegs work. That's like
juice water.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be good, but it just wouldn't have the same impact. I guess I didn't even think about that as far as because you probably have to like tip the kegs to keep it evenly distributed, just like you're supposed to tip the cans and stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I never thought of that because the only ones here we talked about it when we came by, but I know like Brewski in Quebec were doing it, but I don't. When they started doing it, I think it was like say just before the lockdown, and I don't recall anyone talking about putting them on tap in any shape or form. So I think you're right. I don't think anyone really did that. Even at the Vale, they had slushy versions. That's why I always find it the slushy versus a smoothie, because to me a slushy is like 7-Eleven with the machine. You pull the lever down and it comes out. It's a frozen, it's like a daiquiri or something. Like the Vale had that for 2 different drinks, and then Brewski had those ones out here, and I know Serum had them, and I imagine there's probably some places in Toronto around Ontario that may have had them as well. Have you guys done that?
We did.
I'm not surprised. It's totally up your alley.
A couple of years ago, we bought an old slushy machine from some guy in Barrie or something. I don't know. We went up and it was like a couple $100, and we're like, all right, well, it was on Kijiji. I didn't even know what I was going to do with it. That's what the idea was, but like I didn't know what would work or not. But yeah, then we brought it and we started doing it for a little while, and we were trying with certain beers, and we're like, why does it only work for our imperial stouts in like for a long time? Like it'll work, it'll slush up to start and it'll be good, and then if it's like going for an hour or two, then it just like freezes and it didn't work very well. But like it goes all ice, and I eventually just looked it up and figured it out, and there wasn't enough sugar content in some of our beers, so only the imperial stout at the time that we had that was like sweet enough and had enough sugar and had enough everything in that was like working properly. I'm like, I don't know that people want like a 12% slushy.
I mean,
I mean, there are people certainly. But
small pause.
It's like one and done. It'll knock you out.
Yeah, but like that much type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yo, I never even thought about that. Imperial stouts.
Like an espresso.
Yeah, like 2 ounces, boom, you're over. Yo, that's actually pretty dope. Like dangerous, but cool. Yeah. I never thought of an imperial stout because obviously a lot of these smoothies are like just 5% for the most part, 5 or 6. So that would make sense because you can knock back a few of them safely. But like an imperial stout, like you said, it would have the sugar content. But like, did it taste good in that format?
Yeah, it did. It tasted like soft serve ice cream. Like
so it went creamy.
Yeah, it was like a little bit creamy. Like it was. Because it was like churning basically, like it almost at some point it almost it felt like it was almost going into like ice cream territory a little bit. It was cool. It worked for a while, and then it over churned after like a couple hours, and then it just froze. And but yeah, after that we're like, all right, well, we know what we need to do now. We just need to put more sugar, mix more sugar, and then it works. But these the slushy ones, like there's enough sugar in there already, and that's just what it is. Right?
Okay, so you could, when things are a little more stable and you're able to open again, that could be a summer thing where you could just put those Heresy beers that we'll talk about in more detail later when we crack them, but those ones would easily be able to be served in that format.
I think so. Yeah, I mean we haven't tried it, but yeah, we still have the machine up in our storage at the brewery, so we'll try it again once things go back to normal at some point.
I feel like
you could also do like beer snow cones. That'll be sick.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that would it be icy enough to hold in that like hard like.
It has to be frozen a little longer than usual. It's like.
Yeah, how would that work?
Yeah, it got to the point when it like churned so much that it was so icy that it could have held, but then it didn't really. It just didn't really taste so good because it was mostly ice.
Yeah.
You know what I've seen one of our guys showed me a picture of one of the breweries down in I forget where it was, somewhere in the States. They had those little like zip pouches, for like cocktails and stuff for like takeout, and they did that, like they poured it into that, they sealed it, they give you a straw, and that's your takeout thing. So
that's pretty cool.
Hey, now with the laws changed in Ontario, maybe that's a thing now. Who knows?
Oh, So you can do that? You can like pour a beer into a takeout cup and then cap it or not quite?
It's a gray area thing, I think, because like they were letting bars and restaurants do like cocktails and stuff, to go like that, and however they kind of sealed it the way they sealed it, like we were doing growlers early on, and we didn't like early on in the pandemic, and we didn't want to do return glass growlers because everyone was afraid of surfaces and touching, and legitimately so. And we were too, so that's why we didn't do it. So we just did like these single-use plastic, like recyclable growlers, and they were just like the same screw cap ones, but they were just recyclable. So it might just fit in the same kind of category legally, or maybe what we did wasn't cool. I don't know why plastic would be different than glass, but
you should totally go for it, because the dodgy diner down the road from me sells shots to go in those. When you order Chinese, you get like little
like a ramekin
things of little ramekin and soy sauce or like whatever. So they're putting shots in there. It's like $6. Take a shot to go. And all the local yahoos, just take them to go. It's hilarious because
that's actually,
so you can do that. If they're doing that, you can do
yeah
a little more classy than that.
A little more
block pouches.
Yo, that is hilarious. Yo, that's actually pretty ingenious to be able to put them in those containers.
There's a handwritten sign on a huge cardboard thing in the window. It's dodgy as. It's so funny.
I guess probably then people aren't policing it necessarily, so like whatever.
No.
That's fucking hilarious.
No one cares.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even I see my American friends, like you could all the things that they're just allowing here now, you can do in New Orleans like 50 years ago. But I think that my friend say in Vermont, they do that totally. They can get the beers. They just have the exact same as the cocktail. And they just put that little, it's almost like a McDonald's takeout, like a soft fountain drink cup with that lid. You pop that bad boy on them and they're good to go. All those lids you get at the Rogers Center or something, when you buy the overpriced beers there. I mean, I swear that's only fair though. I feel like if they're forcing you to only have takeout, I feel like that's the only fair way. You should be able to pour something. Yeah,
as long as it has a lid and it's not going to spill, then you really, don't have too much of a trouble, because they're letting everybody off with drinking in parks, and people, when you go down to Queen Street, some of the breweries that are facing the street, people just, like Rorschach, and people just grab beers and just crack the can and walk down the street. No one cares.
So then what's
Everyone's
the difference?
way more lax.
Okay, so then there's no, because like the brewery can't be held responsible if they can do the exact same thing with a can. It's just pulling a tab versus like taking a lid off a pre-pour. It's not much of a difference really.
Yeah, it's same thing. Yeah. Yeah, I never understood that too, right? It's like, everything's got to be sealed and whatever. I get it, it's probably more of a tax base, revenue thing than anything. But, it is kind of funny that, like, how hard it is to open up a can.
Yeah.
You can't open up like a plastic thing. You open up a can, like the difference is
negligible, right? Yeah, it's all pretty ridiculous. I imagine you guys we just went into, as of probably in like an hour and a half on Saturday, we're going into a extra lockdown here where they got a curfew and stuff. So I imagine you guys probably won't be too far behind with stuff like that. And I would hope that they would just give you that option. Because it's not like they're like bankrolling all the businesses, and so many businesses are, like at least you have a takeout model that you already had. You were fortunate that you already had the, people we used to come in to buy cans and bottles to go and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool for you. But there's probably a lot of places that didn't have that before. They had to figure it out. So I feel like it's only fair if they let you do cool things. Like you said, you got the pizza takeout, which is dope. Very, very cool.
Yep.
So people can get that. They can order it, right? I'm pretty sure you said that was on like DoorDash or whatever.
Yeah. So you can order online on our website, and then we use DoorDash as a third party. It works through the app that we have on our website. So
sick.
It kind of integrates that way, and then they just come, they pick it up, and they take it. I'm not sure what the radius is. It might just be on the East End where they can take it, but they maybe downtown a little bit too. But
I feel like
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, They seem to be like open, at least here. I know Toronto's a lot bigger, but a lot of places that weren't delivering before to our area are now delivering, and I think it's just because they're like, well, fuck, man, if people an extra 3 kilometers away want to order, like, let's do it.
Man's want to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's how much colder is it going to get after like 30 minutes instead of 40 minutes? It's going to be the same temperature pretty much.
Exactly. And I feel like with you guys, the bonus is, and that's something that Ontario did really well. I gotta give y'all props for that. Was let breweries and businesses sell alcohol to go with food. Here is very few and far between. I don't know. There was one place we were saying to you. I can't remember where Tiff saw it on like Uber Eats or whatever, but like it wasn't. It's definitely not as common as you guys are. So people can order a pizza and they'll get a couple 4-packs or whatever, which I think is just super cool because it allows people to continue to support breweries during this as well as get some great food. Small batch local pizza. You got the chefs on and stuff, the kitchen staff.
It's a one-stop shop now.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, people are digging it, and we, it's a way for us to, make sure that we can keep our kitchen running too. So, like obviously, every small business employs a lot of people, and we employ, 2+ kitchen people depending on the time of year, and I mean, if we were, then no one would have forced us to close our kitchen. We always could have kept it open, but if it was only takeout, and like walk in, we're not quite the easiest. We're not hard to walk to, but we're not like, on Queen Street in middle, a lot of places. So, it's we pivoted, try to keep everyone going. And hey, it's probably not the best idea for me because I'm eating too much pizza.
I guess you're there. You're working. You're like, I could go for a crispy boy and a pizza.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's
dangerous, man.
We ferment our dough with our house culture of yeast, like wild yeast and bacteria, the one that does for our collective. Like I started 2 years ago, I started like a sour starter and been running it over the past couple of years, and now we ferment our dough with it, and it's super light, crisp, and it's such a it's the perfect pizza to eat with. Well, I mean anything really, but like especially like a light, crispy beer. It's just
good pairing.
So, we do a pepperoni one with candied jalapenos. It's just like. It's crazy.
Insane.
It's amazing. Yeah, they do a good job back there with it, and it's we had a couple little problem with our oven the past couple of days. Got all sorted. I tested it out today just before we got on here.
Smart man. Put that foundation
to myself.
Perfect.
Oh, we're gonna need that.
Good for the beers today.
Hey, I love that. Shall we? How you guys looking? Do you want to do the next one yet, or want to chill for a sec?
Mate, let's go.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. So, Maddie, it's your choice, my man. Oh, you don't have to neck it. Jeez, I didn't know you had that much.
Do. Oh, I wasn't gonna.
Okay, I was asking you too many questions, so I just got to ask a question, then I get to sip while you answer. It's a bonus. What do you guys feel like you want to do next? We have a vast array of gems there.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Depends. If you feel another lager, we got Reminiscence, or we can go into a lighter IPA with the Lotus.
I think we should maybe do we want to showcase as many styles of what you guys do. Maybe the Lotus is a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can grab that. I'll get it last once y'all guys got it.
Cool.
Grab it. Oh, you can get it. Yes. Oh, Tiff will grab mine. Yes, it's in the bar fridge, and it's the orange one at the front, I believe. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, guys. Thank you everyone once again for being patient. We out here. We're doing well so far. Look, that was quick.
G'day, mate.
Oh, baby,
I ran as fast as I could, sir.
Yeah. You are a champion. We're, that should be the one. What was it called again?
The repetition.
Yeah, repetition compulsion. Nice.
Double dry hop. It's beautiful.
Have you had this one, bro?
I absolutely have. This will be my third one.
Oh, shit. You are a beast, mate.
I am a beast.
I'm excited to try this one. I don't want to curse it, but all is well. Right? I don't want to say nothing, but...
Don't say it.
It's not bad, eh? Something just before we even crack this one, I just reminded. So I got a bottle of zero alcohol gin today. So Tiff just made a little cocktail. It's actually
I saw you
crazy.
sniffing on that.
Yo, it's crazy.
I thought it was juice.
No, it's I don't. What's the yellow stuff in it?
Oh, I put tonic in it. It's a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you think of the gin?
It's good, and it has some stuff.
It kind of
it's good.
It's just trippy how much it smells like gin.
It's just the botanicals are 100%.
Yeah, it's just so funny because the reason I bring it up, obviously, man, is that you guys have a fantastic zero alcohol beer called Free Spirit. It's been perfectly for dry January and for those folks who are maybe doing, I don't know if it's called dry February, whatever the hell the February version is called, for the people who want 28 days instead of 31. Cheeky bastards. Yeah, how's that one go? That one goes pretty well for you guys, eh?
Yeah, it's one of the beers. I mean, the core beers. People grab flats of. But it's one of our beers too that like I seen some people come grab one or two or three flats of it and just stock up. Hey, it's non-alcoholic beer. You can have as many as you like. But yeah, no, we brew it with a good amount of oats and wheat, like in terms of percentage. There's not a ton of malt to begin with, but
okay.
We put a lot of Galaxy hops. And it's just it's kind of like a hoppy light. There's a good amount of body to it for a non-alcoholic beer, but yeah, it's we brewed it about a year ago now. We were coming after holiday season and having drank a lot of beer, still wanting to drink beer, and we're like, you know what, maybe let's try brewing a non-alcoholic. It's a challenge. For it, like it's just a challenge in general. I'm just going to brew non-alcoholic beer than to just brew regular beer. And we found out that there's the only time we ever discarded a batch. We discarded the first 2 batches of it because not that it didn't taste good. It tasted good, but the first time we got it, it was I think fermented out to like 2%. And we're like, right, well that's it's not a non-alcoholic beer at that point. And then the second time we were like, all right, we got it down. It's like 1%. And we're like, well, can't sell that.
Because it has to be below 0.5, right?
What's the cutoff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
0.5. Yeah. Yeah. No, we kegged some of it. We put on tap, and that's what Jeremy and I would be drinking at the brewery. The non-alcoholic stuff after,
Yeah, man, it's probably smarter.
Or essentially non-alcoholic.
Basically non-alcoholic.
Even at 1%, you would have to drink 5 non-alcoholic beers for it to be the same as one regular 5% beer, right? So
that's a lot of whey.
Yeah, you'd almost drown quicker than
you get drunk.
You would get drunk,
No, it's sick. I think this is great for this time of year. I'm appreciating it more than I ever did, and I really see that before I was like, "Fuck off with this stuff," but now I get the value of it. Like I really appreciate it, and particularly if you're doing something as dope as like dry hopping it with Galaxy, so it's like probably hazy, I imagine, and like actually fragrant and really aromatic and tasty. But it's kind of like you have to like it's this thing I had to get past in my head on my non-drinking nights, which I have strict ones now since the pandemic to avoid the same problems that the pizza's doing to you. I've had the same problem, and try to rectify that. And I found that when you think about it, I don't try and think about it as a beer. It's just fizzy beer flavored water. And then I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But if you try and think of it as a beer, it's light. But you can't compare it. I think you have to compare it to like San Pellegrino as opposed to Truth Serum or something,
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those beers that if you're not drinking beer that night, not that you don't notice that it's not beer, but it's less of a contrast of what like a proper beer tastes like if you're drinking it side by side. So like that's why like if you go a couple of weeks without like having regular beer and then you start drinking that, you're like, oh, it tastes just like beer, and then you have an actual beer to decide and you're like, oh yeah, still a non-alcoholic beer, but it still tastes really good. Like we were super happy how it turned out and people are digging it. So we're going to keep on running it and we're going to try to keep it a year round. That's the plan. So we'll keep running it as long as people are liking it. But yeah, it sells about as well as our other kind of like experimental stuff. Not the crazy, more hypey stuff, but like the normal
normal weed.
more normal stuff.
That's sick. I love it. The people are loving it, man. It's fantastic. I just wanted to give that a shout out before we go into the next one.
Yeah.
So this is the Repetition Compulsion, the single hop, double dry hopped IPA. This one is with Lotus. Now, looking at our good mate Untapped, I don't think I was just checking if I had this before. It looks like there's a shit ton. You've done like 10, 15 variants of this.
Yeah, the Repetition. Yeah, we started off with Galaxy, I think, and then we did El Dorado. We've done Strata.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The El Dorado might have been my favorite one.
I love El Dorado. Period.
It's a great hop, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah. We've done a whole bunch. I don't even remember all of the ones that we've done. But that's how we usually kind of trial our the new hops coming in that we've never used before.
Right.
So I mean, it's fun for me trying it as just a single hop. But yeah, it's a base of like a good amount of oats, a little bit of wheat, and yeah, it's just late hopped, double dry hopped with Lotus, and we. For this batch, we tweaked our dry hopping rates a little bit as well, so it's a little bit punchier than the past versions of the repetition. So,
oh man, this is like aromatic as fuck. My god,
punches you right in the nostrils, mate.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'd Lotus with that thing, guys. Cheers.
It smells thick.
Cheers.
Oh,
cheers,
it
mate.
does.
Oh, goodness.
It smells like it. It tastes like it smells. Wow, that's fantastic. It's got that super creamy. I feel like the Lotus is a hop. I imagine I've had it before, but I don't believe I've had it in a single hop situation. So I've never really you don't take it in like that. This is like, I feel like it's almost like a touch of like pithy, citrusy bitterness, like that grapefruit, but just a touch. I feel like stone fruit, maybe peach or melon. I don't know if I'm nailing any of these tasting notes here. I was trying not to cheat here. Tropical fruit, orange citrus, light berry, and vanilla. Ooh. I love when you get berry out of hop. That's so cool.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
bit of a mind bender.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's got that it's orangey, citrusy, pithy, and a little bit of vanilla, kind of like a creamsicle-ish, for a hop.
Yeah, it's like luscious, but it's like luscious but not creamy.
Yeah.
It's, the beer is creamy, I reckon. But it's just because of the wheat and stuff. But the hop isn't giving that. But the mouthfeel is
chewy.
No,
it's good.
Yeah, the mouthfeel is fantastic.
Mm.
The vanilla is such an interesting thing. Where do you think the vanilla comes from? It's just like
it comes in late in the taste.
Yeah,
I've noticed that even some of with our some of the New England yeast strains, like ours is we've been running this yeast pitch for a little while now, so it's pretty much become a house strain for us. But I find that they generally give off like a little bit of a vanilla character too, at least in context with like some of the West Coast cleaner ale kind of IPAs. But this one's a little bit more of that vanilla, and it must just be the oils and stuff in the hops. But yeah.
That's sick, man. Yeah, I really like this one. Looking at this one, even though you were saying you weren't sure which ones you'd done, you had a ton. Strata, Galaxy, BRU1, Denali, Eldorado, Enigma, Sabro. You've done a lot. Oh, now it goes into other ones.
The Sabro. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That was the first time. That was the first time I tried the Sabro. It just it became an instant favorite right away.
Oh yeah,
that hops a whole different ball game.
That's a beast of a hop, eh?
Oh yeah, it comes through in everything we use it with. So we were doing a little bit of late hopping with Sabro on our hedonisms, just some that we were using and the afterglow as well, the tikis, and it was just usually the late hops don't come through super strongly when we add fruit and other spices and stuff with it, and that one was coming through even through the fruit. I was picking it up, and I was like, "Whoa! All right, we need to dial back that Sabro."
Yeah. Would you say it's as dominant as something like Galaxy?
Oh yeah. For me, anyways, yeah. That because it's that coconut note is such a strange note for a hop that I feel like it just works its way through everything. For me, anyways, it's just like it cuts through everything because it's such a different note.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It does. It definitely stands out when it's. I think it has to be used in enough of a volume, I guess.
Yeah. But even with one of our IPAs, we were running it at a third each of Galaxy, Sultana, which I think was Denali, and then and Sabro, and the Sabro was still coming through strong enough to the point where our staff was kind of selling it as a Sabro IPA. I was like, come on, it's not just a Sabro. So we'll have to dial it back for the next batch on that one. But that was our master status. But people like it with the Sabro, so maybe we'll just keep it the way that it is.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I feel like Sabro's divisive. I feel like you just love it or you hate it. I've seen some people just I feel like they're in the minority, but the people who don't like it are probably not into coconut, period.
Yeah.
And it's it's all they can taste. Whereas I feel like whenever I have a Sabro IPA, I'm looking for it. Where's that Sabro? Let me get that, because it's so unique. It's so cool that you don't. And brewers often tell me, I'm sure you've done this before, but apparently toasting coconut and working with coconut is one of the most hectic adjuncts you can because you have to typically manually toast it, so you got to prepare the coconut. A lot of people tell me, I was using my oven for 48 hours straight and just toasting coconut. It was ridiculous, like at home type of thing, and having to do that. Whereas Sabro, you just put this hop in, then not quite the same obviously, but a lot of the similar characteristics are there. Which is crazy.
Actually, I have a funny note on that with the coconut. We were one of our reps, Darian from PSG. He called me up just letting me know that they were selling some coconut now, or they got a new coconut product in. And we were just talking, we were chatting and joking, and he was saying something. I don't know how it got to this, but it was like, imagine using like coconut milk, toasted coconut, and Sabro all in one beer. And I was like, yeah, that'd be hilarious. And I was thinking, I was like, fuck, I actually did that.
What'd you do?
In our Afterglow, the Tiki series. That was the first one that we did, the Blue Hawaiian. We used coconut milk, we used toasted coconut, and we used Sabro in it. We dry hopped with Sabro. And so, like, at the time, I was like, yeah, that'd be funny. And he was like, oh, yeah, that would be, I was like, fuck, we did that shit.
That's so dope. How did the coconut, did you say coconut milk or coconut cream?
Coconut milk, but I don't know, is it, I guess the coconut cream probably has a little more fat. I don't know. The coconut milk,
yeah, you're right.
The coconut milk still had a lot of fat in it, and it just
killed the head.
It separated out. It killed the head a bit, and it I don't know. I don't know if I would use coconut milk again, or at least I might use it in a boil. But we were conditioning it on coconut milk, and it just didn't. It didn't. The flavor that I was expecting to come through just didn't. So it wasn't like. There's no real value I found in it. Just the toasted coconut would have done
it's enough. But I guess it doesn't hang around. Interesting. Something that I don't know why it just occurred to me now, but one of my friends who's a beer writer here, he did a collab with a brewery, and they did a Galaxy and Nelson IPA, and obviously, right, great combo. But obviously, you'd think the Galaxy is going to punch the Nelson in the face because it's too heavy. But what they did, they said they put the Galaxy in the boil as opposed to the dry hop. Which made it balanced in a way I've never experienced Galaxy balanced before, because it's always, like you were sort of saying, like Sabro like you just can't push it. So I wonder, I don't know what, it's kind of off topic there, but I wonder if you put Sabro in the boil as opposed to the dry hop, do you get enough of the elements? You see where I'm going with this, right? Like elements of the Sabro without it overwhelming the rest in the dry hop side.
I think that would be a good combo. Yeah, that would make sense. Even what I was saying before with the sours where it was peeking through. So I think that
that could dial back a bit.
It's probably a pretty good approach.
Yeah,
because smell the collab.
Yeah,
Sabro in the boil. I like the idea of coconut and everything. Though. You really can't go wrong. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
You really can't, no.
No. This is fire, bro. The more I'm getting into this is like really good. This Lotus. So what's the deal with Lotus? It's just like a not as popular kind of joint, like West Coast?
Yes. It's a fairly new West Coast pop.
Pacific Northwest type of thing? Yakima, okay.
Mm.
Yeah. I hadn't really heard much of it until this year. I think it was... I mean, all these hops are in trials for years and years and years before, or being bred for years before anything. But yeah, I think it just came out this year, maybe last year.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's got a cool name, and we've had people buy it just because the name Lotus, and I'm sure they like it. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really digging it. Like we did the Strata before this, which actually was a really
Strata's cool, hey? Too, so. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like all these new hops that just keep taking it up a notch. I mean, it's crazy. Like it's the next. It keeps on going. I guess it's just like with the brewers, the hop growers too. Same thing, breeders, next level. Like, what other note can we get in a hop? Okay, well, vanilla creamsicle. Okay, coconut.
You're just adding to your toolkit now. You have just more more candy to play with, more flavors to play with to make a crazy beer.
Yeah, it's crazy how much, how many certain flavors come through. Like, I forget which hop it is, but you can get a strawberry note. I think it's Belma. You get a little strawberry note. It's just, fuck, there's so much you can play with. So
yeah, it's hella cool, man. But I like that you got the single hop series to really like let it shine. I think every brewery should pretty much have that.
Highlight, yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool that like you keep the exact same base for all of them. It's all identical and just
yeah. It's basically all identical. I mean, if there's for some reason we don't have something, we can swap it out with something similar. But yeah, like if we can't get flaked oats, we'll use flaked wheat or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's basically the exact same base all the time, and same hopping rates, same everything. Well, this batch we tweaked it a little bit with the dry hopping schedule, but we'll continue with that same schedule moving forward. But yeah, it's basically like everything is the same. The only thing that changes is the hop variety. So like we still even try to use the same amount in the boil as well. So like the bitterness sometimes changes if you have like a big 18 alpha hop versus like a 10 or something. It doesn't change that much. It's not really that noticeable, but it's a little bit noticeable. Sometimes they're a little bit more bitter, more sweet than one version to the next. But I don't want to fuck around with then like if I'm putting twice as much hops to get the same amount of bitterness, then maybe change the intensity of flavor. So I don't know. You gotta pick one or the other, basically.
Right, and you want it to be as authentic to the hop as possible because that's really what you're trying to, even if you have to manipulate that base a little bit or do things a little bit differently to let that hop shine, I guess that's fine, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all you really want to do is just get all of those notes really up front. Yeah. I like that. I saw the one that you did, the Brew 1. What's the deal with that hop? I've seen that once or twice, but I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, it's so I think if I'm not mistaken, it's from one of the Yakima farms called Brew Lot Farms, I think, and it was I think it was their first or one of their first. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't the first hop that they bred, but it was probably the first hop they bred that they released, I think, or something like that. Maybe I'm just assuming here. I don't know if I'm 100% right, but yeah, it was a lot of. I'm trying to remember the notes on that, but I think there was a good amount of berry note on it, and it was a really cool one too. And people dug that one. I think we released that one last summer, I think. But it had been around maybe for a year before that when we got our hands on some. So, but yeah, I really like that hop too. Yeah, it was a cool one. I don't like. Sometimes it makes me laugh that you have all these like other hops, like Galaxy and Lotus and Sabro and all this, and then there's just like Brew 1.
It's like lazy.
Yeah, that's not enough. Yeah. Or it's just like not like it's not naming something after like trying to go hypey for a name or something. I don't know, but yeah.
I imagine it's temporary. Would it be a temporary name?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think they might have changed it. They might have changed it since. I'm not sure.
It's almost like, is it like those? That HBC 475 or whatever, like those shits. Like I wonder if it's the same concept as that, where it's sort of like just the experimental, like whatever back end name, and then when they do, they'll call it Lotus or something. Like that's when they actually come up with a cooler name for it, a branded name.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it actually is Lotus. I don't know.
It could be. I feel like I wonder if there's. I think you could probably find out. I bet there's probably like something because I've seen a lot of breweries generally using the HBC ones, and there's like 2 or 3. There's this one that starts with 6 and the one that starts with 4 that I've seen a reasonable amount. So I would imagine that those. I think they release them as like a test, like usually through maybe it's like YCH or something. And they drop them as like a test, and if they work, then they'll name them.
And they patent it.
I think. Would it?
Something like that. So it's kind of like weed. Like that is.
No, it gets patented. You're 100% right. They get patented. That's why you can't. That's why Galaxy is owned by somebody because of what Matt was saying before. We had Hop Farmers on the podcast.
They own the strain identity. Or
correct.
Like
yes, they own the genetic makeup of that plant.
That's
so
they.
People can't recreate it, so that's why Galaxy is only allowed to be grown by certain people in Australia. Because you have to sell a license for anybody to be able to.
That's serious.
To do it, so it's super serious. But it's like at first I was like, that's ridiculous. But if you spent 10 years perfecting this hop, wouldn't you be pissed if somebody else could just grow it and sell it. So
copycat your shit, yeah.
Yeah, so I understand from a business perspective, but yeah, I think that's really what they do. I don't know if it's, I guess it's patented at that point, but they don't know if it's going to be popular. So they're like, all right, let's release some, and we won't give it a name yet. We'll call it this experimental name. And if breweries like it, and then we're like, all right, boom, then we can drop it. But I feel like the only reason I mentioned it all is because you did a single hop of that brew one. And I hadn't seen a single. I'd seen the double hop. I know Lager Beer here in just outside of Montreal. They did the 2 HBCs, but I'd never seen a single hop IPA of any experimental hop ever. So I thought that was super dope.
It looked like some secret agent shit. Like that was like, oh, you guys are onto some next level beer making. Here's the sneak peek.
Yeah, hey, who knows? I hope so. If we're on something.
Yeah,
get smart. Yeah. That guy from back in the day.
Yo, I forgot about that show.
That's the old school reference. I'm old.
Yeah, you're washed, mate.
It's okay, mate. Maxwell Smart.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's him. Yeah, okay, sick. All right, that's dope. So I like that you've been doing that. So as far as your IPA lineup, since we're on that, I guess we might move on to other stuff after. But you got the core brand would be Truth Serum, which is one of the first beers I have from you guys. Is, you were telling us, is that the LCBO SKU?
Yes.
Okay.
So we just got in the LCBO at the end of December.
Amazing.
So it's been doing really well.
Congrats, it's sick.
Yeah.
Seriously, congrats, bro. That's great. It's a hustle.
We started with the reminiscence in the LCBO, and it kind of hit just at the beginning of COVID, and it wasn't really doing so well because we couldn't really go around to stores and give the people samples to get it on the shelves.
Well, Maddie's potentially frozen.
That's not too bad. It took an hour to freeze. He'll be back.
Honestly, that was bang on an hour, dude. That's so funny.
It says 101 here.
There you go.
He'll be back. Yo, but while we're frozen, yeah, this is honestly fire, man. This the mouthfeel is fantastic. The Rorschach is just so dope. So I'm not surprised that this is.
It keeps growing. Like the flavor changes. Like now that it's a bit warmer and the initial cold sort of bite's gone, I'm getting way more orange zesty. Ness. And then kind of citrusy on the end, but it's way more orangey than before, and I like that. Yeah, it's like you could have this for like brunch, but the only bad thing is this is like 6 point something, 5.5.
No, 5.5.
It's not too bad anyway. So you could potentially brunch this because it's so fruity.
Easily brunch that. I like that. You could brunch this. I like that.
Beer before food because my body's like
no, it's super dangerous.
So this is something you could have like after some brunch. So this would fit quite well with the morning with the 2 p.m. bruncho.
There you go. It's like a mimosa. Speaking of that, real quick, because we got cut off before, I didn't get to say. So we said it in the first version, but you haven't been on the podcast since episode 100. And for people who don't know, you are there's basically you, me, and Tiff who run the podcast. You contribute photography to the social media, but most importantly, you are the audio engineer. You have engineered every single episode, probably 250 or so now, at least.
Yeah, it's a couple. Fuck.
It's not bad. So you are responsible for the entire sound of the podcast and making sure. So anybody listening to the audio, this is the man behind it. He's the reason it sounds decent. Obviously.
So when you guys are recording outside and it's windy, I've done my best to get rid of the wind, and best believe it took me a minute.
Sorry, man. I never intend to fuck up your game.
No.
With that,
it's all part of the fun, mate. I wouldn't have got better if I didn't get some occasional echoey, windy audio to play with. So thank you, mate.
You're welcome. My favorite one that you fixed was Tiff and I talk about it regularly. It was the one in Michigan at Founders. There he is. We got him.
Oh, welcome back, Matty. Yeah.
We were saying, not too bad. We lasted an hour, and this was the problem that we can deal with. And see, no problem. We're back. Everything's good.
Just slot back in. Everything.
The other problems that we had weren't so work withable, but now this is easy. This is nothing. We're chilling. Having a good fucking time. Oh, you froze already? Uh-oh, Matty.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Well, at least he's gone. While he's doing that, basically... we did a podcast there.
That one episode in Michigan.
We were on the patio. There were big trucks going past. There were helicopters going overhead, and the whole time we're like, "Oh fuck, bro!" We were really this is done for. And at the time, before they were problematic, this was the biggest episode we had ever done with the largest brewery. And I would argue probably still to this day it is. And you made it sound mint. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how good it sounded. And that was 2017. It was summer 2017, so pushing 3.5 years ago. You made it sound like glorious, like it was perfect. And your skill set plus your equipment has ramped up significantly since
it's
then.
true.
So,
shout out to Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday sales that continue into January.
Yeah, that's what we're about. So the only, hey man, you gotta take advantage. So the only thing that that we can't deal with is the Skype issues because of this new way of doing the podcast. Everyone's been cool. No one's ever said anything, whatever, but we do our best to keep it as high quality as possible. When we have guests, the thing is the guests don't have equipment and we don't have additional equipment to therefore ship out to the guests and then teach them how to use it.
Lacking.
So I don't, we would normally, so if it's just me and you, we have another podcast that we do every Monday. Shouts to Bad Habits Podcast. Check it out on the Movement Fan. And we record each side, and then when you mix them, it sounds like we're together. But on BAOS, when we have guests, we have to just take this audio stream because the guests don't have their own microphones because most, they're brewers and they're not podcasters. So, they don't have that equipment. So we have to work with what we got. So sometimes tonight has been a bit of a plague of technology issues. Hopefully Matt can get the internet nice and smooth shortly. I feel confident we can because we've overcome the other tech difficulties by changing computers. Oh, I hear something. There he is.
I think I'm back.
I think you're back.
Hey.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, it lasted 15 seconds before, and then it was like, I think we're good. Everything was so good. That wasn't bad. We had a full hour of no tech difficulties. At this point, I'm grateful, man. Jeez.
Yeah,
same.
It's good.
Now, we were just talking about hops, blah, blah, blah. No, the other IPAs in the lineup, and you had Truth Serum got into the LCBO, but you must have done that after you had the first beer.
Yeah.
The
Truth Serum. Yeah, so we had the Reminiscence, and then we swapped it with the Truth. And so it's been doing really well. People kind of knew about it enough already. If people who generally run the LCBO stores know, about
they know local beer and stuff. They know what's popular.
They know that they know their beer. So so it helped a little bit without us not being able to go really into stores so much to say, hey, here's this new beer, we just got a listing, so it helped us that it was already a little bit of an established name, so that was good, and people are picking it up, and people seem really excited about it in the LCBO. We see a lot of posts, and we get tagged in a lot of stuff that says oh, I just found this new IPA at the LCBO. We've been delivering out as far as Peterborough or into Guelph Kitchener and Hamilton, and so people, it's hopefully, that's always with the LCBO, it helps build a brand and stuff, getting wide distribution like that. So, we're happy that it's in there, and it allows us to brew it so often that it's always so fresh too, that it just really helps as well. So
sick.
Yeah.
That's great. So if people live near an LCBO and they don't stock it, can they request it to get it in the store? Is that something people can do?
Yeah, absolutely. Please request it. That would help us out a lot and helps you guys get some Truth Serum. So,
win-win.
It would be very nice if people could request it with their beer ambassadors or with their stores locally, because we're trying to get it to as many people as we can with that beer and keeping it fresh. So
the aim, obviously, to get it in the LCBO is mainly probably brand awareness, I would imagine, just because obviously the margins are better if you're selling it out of your own doors, but at the same token, if you can get it in the LCBOs, people know the name, and then they're more inclined to either buy off online or come visit and pick up some beer to go. The response so far from the LCBO has been, and from the beer drinkers and stuff, has been pretty cool. Have you seen that I don't want to be too marketer in me, but like the sales funnel from, people buying Truth Serum at the LCBO, discovering the brand, being like, yo, this is fire. Like, because LCBO does have to work to keep their hazy IPAs well stocked, well stored.
Yeah. In the fridge.
In the fridge, because I've tried every single Ontario trip I go somewhere and
they mess it up.
It kills me, man. I want to talk to someone every time. I don't say none, but I feel like I want to tell the breweries because I knew they'd be furious about it. It's usually the larger ones, to be fair, but still, you never know. And people taking that beer home and then looking you up and then finding you on Instagram or something and then being like, this is amazing, and then coming by. Have you seen that direct sort of?
Yeah. I mean, I think we have seen it a little bit. It's hard to tell, exactly in terms of, because we know which stores we're selling to, but we don't necessarily know who's buying from that store unless they post about it or tag us in or something like that, afterwards. But I mean, what we were kind of started doing towards the end of last year as well, simultaneously, was doing more regional delivery zones for our deliveries. So every second Thursday we go out to Guelph, Kitchener, and Waterloo. Every second Thursday, I think we go to Durham area, and we go out to Hamilton, St. Catharines, and we go up North York, Markham area. So kind of that in simultaneous connection, I think with the LCBO is kind of like feeding off each other a little bit, which has been nice because people maybe find the True Serum at the LCBO and then they say, oh, that's cool, I could try, I really liked it, let me see what these guys are about. And then they say, oh, cool, they delivered to my area too, and or vice versa. They know that they delivered to our, like we deliver to their area, but maybe it's not for like 2 weeks, and then but they know they can go to their LCBO as well there and just get some more True Serum if they like that one. So it's kind of been nice. We've had to like pivot just like every brewery and every business has, in the pandemic, and not have the volume through other distributions and licensees and stuff like that. So the LCBO has helped a lot with that too. So and it's been nice seeing like there's a lot of LCBOs that have really nice selection. Like get caught up at the brewery so much, but we were doing some deliveries to some of the LCBOs that picked us up early, and I just see some of the selections at some of them, and I'm like, shit, wow,
they did well,
guys. Like the guy, yeah, and there's a lot of guys there that are running those beer departments that are like, we knew about you guys. Like there's a couple of them that were like, I was so excited to see that you had the True Serum in. I love that beer. Like, I want to get it on the shelf right away. And so, I mean, these guys, there's a lot of these guys run, a lot of these people run these stores that know their beer too. So, it's nice to see that there's a lot more of a focus on that in the LCBO now too. So, I think it's a good thing overall. And a lot of those stores too are the ones that have the refrigerated, like walk-in refrigeration spaces and stuff. So, it's I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Oh, for sure, man. I love that though. That they're saying that to you. I think that's fantastic because those are the people that should be running the beer departments. The people that know they come and they'll know you, and if they don't know you, they know the brewery. And then when you're there dropping it off, like, yo, Matt, this is fun, bro. This is amazing. Like, I love that. I think that's super important because I think craft beer's got to the point now where if somebody who isn't that human that you just described, like they shouldn't be running a beer department in any shape or form.
I have to be a huge fan.
I have to. Like, I think that's a prerequisite. Like, if they're interviewing for a beer manager or whoever beer buyer, is that what it would be?
I think they're called beer ambassadors. I think.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's the person in charge. Is that what Brandon is, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we know this dude. Which LCBO is he at?
Queen and Coxwell.
Okay. So around the corner.
He's
a dude.
That's one of those LCBOs that you're talking about, Matt, that have a good selection, that have all the stuff that really should be in the fridge. They have a good feature section, and they have another out of the fridge, double-sided aisle of all the bottle stuff. They've got all the Rodenbachs and all the bench sours, which should be in the fridge, I guess. But all the stuff that's cork and cage and et cetera, like barrels, quads, all that sort of stuff on the shelf. So that's one of the good ones.
Right. Yeah, that's my local one too, because I live basically just across from the brewery, and whenever I'm going to the LCBO, I go to that one. They got some good selection there. Yeah, I'm always finding something. I'm like, oh damn, they got this at the LCBO. Shit.
Yeah, it's cool.
So that's because this dude Brandon, who I just met through, he hit BAOS up, and I started trading with him. He wanted stuff from Montreal. he got some stuff from Toronto that I was not able to get, or Brad wasn't able to get for me. This was like obviously not 2020, like 2019 and before. So yeah, he's the manager there. So he's a passionate beer guy who's, you know, buying stuff and trading and coming up here and going places, you know, and that's the type of dude, like he's perfect for that type of manager because, and like you said, if you, as who you are impressed, like if someone in the beer industry who's a brewer and an owner is impressed, I feel like that's like, all right, that says a lot about what they're doing. So I think that's really dope that being that Ontario is quite limited with the actual points of sale with beer, the one benefit you do have is the delivery that here in Quebec we don't have, but the LCBOs need to be run right, and I love that. It's cool. It's good for discovery too. Like even when we come down, you know, we always swing in by Kingston because it's got a beer store there, so we keep our empties and drop them off there because in Quebec it's a pain in the ass. They don't take anything that isn't from that store where you bought it. So we take them there. Just
whack.
Yeah, it's super whack, but it's like I can't get past. I don't want to recycle them. It's you get.
That's why you did the run around. I thought it was.
I'm just a tight ass. Like with
the reason was.
Yeah, it's more just like you know you can
buggers,
get money. That's why Quebec only. You have these little. They're almost like a Coke machine, but they scan barcodes and then they take the empties. And that's one way, or you can take them to the person. Now you could try and do a thing where you would give them a big bag and you go, here's 100 cans, and there'd be all sorts of stuff in there. I just kind of couldn't be bothered trying to get away with that, so it's easier to just rent a car. Even when we were in the pandemic, we hadn't been to Toronto forever. We just rent a car for a day trip. We go up to it's called Hawkesbury, just over the border. Drop them off, whatever, because you sometimes get $50. I don't know, $50, I guess. Like, I don't know, and then do other errands on that day. Anyway, the point being, I enjoy the experience of going to the LCBO and seeing what they have. So you go to that store there, or go to the one in Kingston or something on the way to Toronto and see what they have and just see what's going on, because they always, you know, typically there's these wherever it is. Toronto is a bit of a different market because there's so many breweries. But if you go to somewhere like Kingston or these other stores, you get just what's happening local. And I think it's kind of cool because all these breweries, you're like, I think I've seen that online or something, and like you might not really know, and they have like 4 different SKUs of them, and like it's an interesting shopping experience and exploration experience. And
when you find a good one.
When you find a good one, because you could, you know, but I mean, your labels are very consistent with the, you know, the lines at the top here and the way that you've got everything positioned, like artistically. They're very similar, different colors, so they are one bold color. So if you have all the different ones on the shelf, they stand out super strong. So, you know, Truth Serum with this new, they're in short cans now, which I only saw when we got the last one, which is super dope. I like that. I guess my point is that they stand out on the shelf. People would see that and be like, oh, what's this all about? Because it looks different to everything else. Typically, a lot of the ones are the wraps in LCBO, like the full wraps, and they're colorful and all this stuff, whereas yours is like block. And like, oh. You know what I mean? I think people would, you know, enjoy that type of thing and be able to, you know, check you out and grab a bunch of other stuff and then keep them coming back. I like that sort of the whole I don't know, what would you call it, like that ecosystem, I guess. You know,
it's a smart, clean branding. Like I said, it stands out on the shelf and looks good, especially the fruity ones because they're, you know, brighter colors.
Yeah, we were trying to go with something that like still was like craft with the colors and stuff, but like not like it just looked a little bit different. And we're working with 2 local artists, Chad and Michaela, that put together this, and we've been working with them for all the designs, and they've been doing a great job. I mean, like we get lots of good compliments on it, and I'm super happy with it. So no, it's super dope. Even this one, I like this one with the reverse. You know, with the texts, you know, it's probably
the negative. The
negative is the word. Thank you. It's super cool as well. Like, I really appreciate the different vibes you guys have got going, and just even when I was just putting them in the fridge, they just all look in all the different ones. I'm like, wow, these just look sick. All together in there and stuff. You know. The only thing, the Heresy, the green one, I thought it was going to be green. I was like, oh, because it's it's like a tropical punch. It's like, oh, is this going to be green? But like, you know. We didn't
slime green. We wanted slime green.
Yeah, the ectoplasm beer.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys see that? The slime beer that was
like Nickelodeon Gak.
Yo, Brad, did you see that? There was a slime beer that was released.
Yeah.
You saw that, Matt? Did you see it?
I saw, I saw a picture. I think it was a real beer. I don't know.
No, it's real. It's from Texas.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why, no, it looked, you said the ectoplasm, it looked like slime. They called it slime beer, and they did two. They did a green one for Halloween, and then they did a red one for Thanksgiving. And they were almost like, I don't know if they were like, no, some of them like popped the tab and were pouring it onto a plate, not even in a glass, on a plate. And it was, it looked
mad thick.
Yeah, it looked awesome, bro. Like, it's the coolest shit ever.
Okay, I mean, I want to see it. It sounds yuck.
But well, the point is, Matt,
how
do you feel about slime beer? And if you feel good about it, then we should talk, because I'm interested in pissing off some purists in a nice little slimy collab, if you know what I'm saying.
Hey, you know what? I'm not going to say no to anything that's weird. So
that's the attitude that we need
to do that.
Yeah, I wonder what they do. I mean, obviously there's some sort of gelatin involved, more than like pectin.
It might just be a ton of gelatin. Yeah.
Oh, I imagine that's got to be what it is, and you probably but I wonder how it because obviously there's no carbonation involved, and maybe it's like you put I bet you put you can it, and then after as you put the liquid in, you put the gelatin in, and then you put the top on, and then when you put it in the fridge, it becomes like what in Australia we call it jelly. Here, I guess it's jello, but jello becomes like jello essentially in the can, because you poured the right amount of gelatin in that liquid that you poured in the can.
And it sets in the can.
And it sets in the can.
That's hilarious.
Yo,
and then you can use a can opener, and then you eat it with a spoon.
I'm so down, bro. I am.
Fuck it.
Okay, we should seriously take this offline, because if you're the only person who would be, I don't know anyone else who would be down for this in any shape or form. Like, you are we
got 3 people that are down right now.
This is it. There's no other brewery that would be like, yo, let's do slime beer, and no one else has done it. Not even in the States. Was that one brewery? I feel like it could be could make some people mad, bro.
A real sick photo shoot for it. It'd be great.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm down for making the purists angry.
Look, I respect it. I want to drink their crispy boys too, but I also want to make them mad, because who doesn't like fun?
Beer is fun,
right?
Exactly,
Beer is fun. Goddammit.
It is, mate.
It's all about having fun, right?
Well, we're all here.
We're getting drunk, and that's what the fuck we're doing. Like, I don't really understand the objection to fun.
We're getting there.
So
speaking of getting drunk.
Speaking of getting drunk, how are you guys looking with that? You guys I just wrapped up that one.
Looking pretty empty, Yep.
Matt, we're pushing you. Do you know why? Because we're making you talk. That's why.
That's true.
We're ruining your game.
I'm going to do one thing at a time with the old gob, mate.
So,
I'm all good.
On that note, you're like, whatever. You had a pizza, bro. You're good. You are good. On that note, what would you guys like to do? What do you think is the move? Do you know what I just remembered before? That we had the barrel-aged stouts as well for later. I forgot about those.
Mate, I did not forget about them. When your computer was doing its first series of heart attacks, Matt and I was like, no, we're going to take it easy, because they've got the big dogs. Should we have them first? And then I was telling him about how we reversed our order at Liquid Arts. We had the big dogs first, the big percentages, and then we went tailored the percentage of the alcohol down.
I don't remember that at all, but okay. So
we tried to, because remember Scott was saying, because we came in with the lighter beers and went light to heavy, and we got absolutely smashed
every time.
The next festival we went to, we had like a 12% stout and 10% barrel sour or something, and then we just went down the percentages till we got to Crispy Boys at the end, and we weren't as smashed when we went home.
I don't recall that, but I trust you because you have a better memory than I, so I like that.
I found it really fascinating. It totally happened, and it was really interesting, and I've told so many people.
We're not as dumb as not as drunk.
It's like the drinking strategy for festivals. It's like, how messed up do you want to go, or how good do you want to be at the end of it?
Yeah.
And if so, drink big at the start.
My friend who has a kid, the guy who's a beer writer here, the joke is he always sends us a picture of a 10% beer he's drinking at 4 p.m. because he has kids. He's up at like 5 or 6 or something. And he does it because he's like, if you have the big sugary beers earlier on, it doesn't make you hungover or give you a headache or anything the next day. So that logic is facts, I think.
Rings true.
Right. So at this point, fuck that logic. We're just going to keep going how we're doing. I feel like if you have a stout,
keep it on taste bud.
Yeah, taste
trail,
bud. So I don't even necessarily recall the other options.
We had the seltzers too.
Oh, we absolutely need to do one of those for sure. So we had the Mountain Dew, and do you want to do one of those now? Or is there a logical step before that? Because we
had the Reverie, but that's a little stronger. What else did we have?
There was. I'm trying to picture them.
The Decadence was in there, like it's a stout.
Decadent was that was a stout, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the pineapple chocolate.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, that shit was fire. We had the. Obviously, I'm picturing the Truth Serum. I saw the Reverie when I grabbed the other stuff, and everything else was in short cans, so there was no more tall cans. So I think there was the Mexican lager, but we've moved on from that. There was I guess I don't know if
I can just go and grab them all.
Yeah, take a look or take a picture and read them out to us or something because I can't even remember.
I think there was the Heresies. There was
there was the
seltzers.
Yep. So there was two of the seltzers, so that would add up to some volume there. Yep. The Truth Serum, the Reverie, the Decadence, and there might have been one or two others.
And then the Imperial Stouts.
So maybe it makes sense to do a seltzer. I don't know, you do the Imperial Stout before the Heresy?
Okay.
What did we forget? Talk to us. No, she got it.
So we got the Berry Blast.
Yep.
Here, so you've got the Decadence, the two seltzers, the True Serum, the Reverie, and the Afterglow Tiki.
Oh, that was the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Pineapple, coconut, blood orange. Everything in the fruit bowl.
Everything in the fruit bowl. So I guess we might as well. We can move either onto fruits and then stout them. I don't know really what the smartest thing is. You are the guide on this journey, Matthew. You're the guide.
Choose. Pressure's on.
It might make sense to do the seltzer. We were just talking about pissing the purists off.
Okay, which one? The Mountain Dew or the Dr. Pepper?
Mountain Dew. I like both of them. The Mountain Dew is the cooler one. Also, it kind of looks like that slime beer. So
it's the closest thing
in terms of the color.
Yes,
the color.
I'm excited. All right,
so let's do that one.
Okay, let's do that one. Boom. All right, I'll grab that in a sec. You can go grab it if you want.
Cool. Yeah.
Grab that. Guys, let us know how you feel about slime beers. Oh, look, everyone's really quick. This is really
I'm trying not to mess around. I'm sprinting in my slippers.
Mate, I'm going to go fetch mine. Do you want to... Actually, no, wait till Matt comes back so you guys can talk. I love the... Honestly,
I was going to wave
Google the... There's a brewery, it's in Texas, who does the slime beer. I want you to see this shit because it's the most fucking amazing
I'd love
thing.
To see it.
Is
it on the gram?
It's on the gram. They're called it starts with A, which is really vague.
Okay.
How do you know if I Google slime beer? Do you remember the name of the brewery that did the slime beer?
No, I saw it on one of the memes. That's where I saw it on.
Yeah, it was on it was Worst Beer Blog posted it, and I was like, here it is. Armadillo Ale Works, and it was called Gouge Rule.
Wow.
Sounds right.
Here you go. They're gonna pour it. Look at the beer. Look at that. Oh shit! Look at the slime. Yes.
Oh, glug, 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 glug.
Oh, that's so sick.
That is weird. It looks like medicine.
Yeah. Honestly,
yeah, it doesn't.
That
look
is
the
so
most
medicine-y.
So it's kind of like it's like Jello, but not as hard.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like
it's like coconut water.
Yeah, with the stuff.
Aloe vera, aloe gel, aloe water with the aloe gel bits in it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh wow, that's actually an interesting comparison.
That's what that's reminding me of, the aloe vera drink.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Either way, I don't want to
get drunk in the park and drink those.
Bubble tea with the little things at the bottom. I'm gonna go grab that Mountain Dew. You guys can keep talking for a sec.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So speaking of bubble tea, so you should make a beer with tapioca balls in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or some sort of jelly replacement. Could you use that in beer? Would that just disappear? That wouldn't hold up, right?
I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, tapioca, depending on maybe if you put it in the boil or not, I don't know. But it would be funny to have the little balls at the bottom of the can.
You have to have like you couldn't have a see-through can, could you? That wouldn't work. Have to find a way to make this work.
We'd have to bottle it.
Maybe it'd have to be one of those things that you serve at the brewery, and you put the tapioca balls in the bottom.
Yeah, it would have.
You have to get one of those big fuck off straws though. The wide mouth bass straws.
Yeah. No, they. If we ever tried to can that, we use Northern Canning. They wouldn't be very happy to can. It wouldn't be possible in the first place. But if we told them that we would, hey, by the way, we had this idea to put
no
tapioca balls.
It'd definitely be more of a brewery thing, but people would definitely catch on. I think it'd be fun. I'd want a tapioca beer.
It would be pretty funny.
You do all sorts of flavors too, because you could jack one of the menus at one of those places like 10 Ren and just make a bunch of beer cocktails with tapioca balls in it. See, what do you reckon?
Oh, that's a good idea, and then make them slime.
And make them slimy.
Make them slime. So, another trend that seems to have straight. This is a weirder one. I can understand how Smoothie Sours are pissed off. Purists because they are, they're a Berliner Weiss that have been bastardized with unpasteurized and unfermented beer. So it's essentially a beer cocktail. I get it. I don't really think many people are trying to argue that it's beer. But it's beer. So, it is what it is. But the seltzers are a funny one because I think people do get a little vexed about them still. And I never really understood why. Well, because people are putting the same arguments onto these that they do on Smoothie Sours by saying it's not beer. I'm like, bro, it's a seltzer. No one said it was beer, bro. Like, chill. And right, like that's the main thing.
That one's 100%. Yeah.
So now the only argument that I see people getting a little vexed for is that there's two ways to make it, and this is probably where you would be able to speak to this more. Do you know the two different ways? Could you speak to it better than me? Because I always fuck it up. I never really remember. I know one of them is from malt, but the other one is some sort of alcohol derivative.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways that you could do it. One would be basically making a cocktail where you're blending vodka or any other spirit into some carbonated or uncarbonated thing and canning it, and then the other way is to actually ferment.
Right.
Some fermentable sugar, and then it needs to be 100% fermentable, basically, though. So that's the thing. So you're basically just fermenting sugar with a special yeast, and then carbonating it and putting some kind of flavoring in it, typically. So we don't. One has a license where you need to have the distillery license to do it the blending way. So we ferment. But yeah, basically.
Okay.
So almost the color of the slime beer.
I was going to say it's super slime-esque. It smells like I haven't obviously had Mountain Dew for a long time, but it's got trying to identify the flavors. Lemon lime, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think Mountain Dew's lemon lime and sweetness, and I don't know.
Well, cheers to all the purists. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
That is so trippy, dude.
Smells like it should be an icy pole flavor.
Yeah. Icy pole is a popsicle for Canadians.
Popsicle, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Bradley,
a long frozen thing that you chuck in your face.
Yeah. Yo, there's something about these are so trippy to me because
smells like summertime and on 12 riding bikes and just come to get a little freezy.
Yeah. It's hilarious that you've been able to do. I mean, one, you had a Dr. Pepper one, you had a Mountain Dew one. So I had the Dr. Pepper one. I hadn't had this one yet. I was super excited to.
Sounds great.
Yeah, man, this is dope. And even calling it Dew Mountain, which is funny as well. Like you're not really breaching anything there, so I feel like that's enough, because you've got no visual trademarks that you're doing anything to do it,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to describe it.
It's like a lemon lime alcohol water.
Yeah.
Ooh, but it's it's more syrupy than Yeah,
it's syrupy and sweet, so it's desserty, but it's not cloying, I guess, which is a word I guess people probably would would
like
use for this.
Sickly sweet. It doesn't taste like too sweet. Like, oh, that's too much sugar or that's too much sweetness. It's like that tastes like Mountain Dew.
Correct.
Sweetness.
Yeah, and it's like
it's like.
Yeah.
But you don't taste any alcohol either. It's just like
no, that's the scary part.
I'm gonna get really drunk off this, and so yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. When we were we canned on the same canning day, we did the 2 seltzers and we did the 2 heresies. And
that's a big day of
the heresies.
It's a big day of sweetness.
Yeah, and it was a fun day. But I was thinking as we were starting, I was like, I don't know. Is there any point in doing, like, we had already made it. It was already ready to go. His candy was tasting amazing, or like for what it was, But
hey man, don't talk it down. It is. It's amazing.
No, I don't mean to talk it down. I just mean like it tastes like Mountain Dew. I was surprised. It tastes like Mountain Dew, because it literally just tastes like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, it really does. It's scary.
I was like, well, is there any point in this? Like, did we just like go so far around the other side of the circle that we just like
you fell off the edge?
Is it like, why doesn't someone just buy a can of Mountain Dew and put a shot of vodka in it instead? But hey, you know what? I don't know.
Been there, done that.
It's good. I don't know.
Exactly. It's boring. That seems boring. This is way more fun. Recreating something that people were drinking when they were kids in this new, strange seltzer world that's only been popping for maybe 2-3 years, but like here in Canada, like maybe a year-ish, and locally, hardly any, must be a handful at best have done it. I can't think of many more than that. I mean, you probably know more than me, but I can't think of, even including Quebec as well. I'm thinking, actually, I don't think really anyone here has done it. It's mostly been in Ontario. You guys have been in the seltzer game, and here they were starting with the smoothies and starting to cross over a bit.
Yeah. It's only been a handful, I think, that have really tried it. There's been a decent amount of, it's been a handful that have like put out one and tried it, and I think everyone I think maybe this is one of those things that people see it and they're like, oh yeah, I'm curious about how just to make it work, And it was the same for us, like, wouldn't that be interesting? Like, what do we do? Okay, like fermenting sugar water and blending some flavor into it is,
right.
But But we just didn't want to do what we've seen a lot of people do is like put like a fruit flavor or something like that in. And what I've tried is all good, but I just didn't want to do something that was like the same thing, basically just from a different brewery. So
where did this idea come from then? Like, as far as like one first part, like why did you want to do seltzers, and 2, why did you decide, or how did you decide on these 2 beverages to recreate?
Yeah, Jeremy, who's my brother and the other brewer at Rorschach.
Oh yeah, we met him, right? He was there. Yeah. Okay, sick.
Yeah, he's my younger brother, 6 years younger, a little shorter. He started brewing when I was brewing, and I kind of brought him in, and I was like, hey, you're gonna help me brew today, and then we opened, and he didn't have a job, and I was like, hey, you're gonna help me brew today.
That's sick.
And here he is.
And here now he's a brewer here at Rorschach. But yeah, no, we were bottling from barrels one day. It's a giant pain in the ass with our mixed fermentation beers, and we were just I don't know, we were tired because we were brewing 5 days straight and something else, I don't know, and we were just joking around of like some stupid ideas about like, because we were joking about seltzers, and then we were joking about dumb ideas about putting like energy drink seltzers and that kind of stuff. And so like the idea just sat in the back of my mind for a little while, and then I thought like, oh well, how would I even do something like that? And then I thought, okay, well, I know that like these syrups exist, so like let's give it a shot. And that's kind of how it started. But I was just like, all right, well, where can I get this from, and then what ratio do I have to blend it in to make it taste like it's supposed to taste, and taste like it's supposed to taste. So.
Right. So it's just
I
like
guess it worked.
It really did. So then you use the grain method, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, we fermented it, but there's like an incredibly small amount of grain and like a single pellet of hops, basically. But the vast majority of it is sugar that gets re-fermented with a special yeast that is just because in most brewers' yeasts they need more complex sugars like maltose, maltotriose, that kind of stuff, because they can't build their cell health without those kind of sugars. Whereas like other yeasts that would ferment like for spirits or for wines or whatever, they just ferment the most simple sugars like sucrose, fructose. So you need that kind of a yeast, basically. But yeah, it just is mostly sugar that gets fermented to be completely dry and alcohol, and then just blend whatever back into it. So yeah, it's I thought it would be more of a challenge in terms of like fermenting it, but it's basically a pretty straightforward thing. So it didn't necessarily like satisfy my curiosity as much as brewing like the non-alcoholic was, which was more of a challenge. But it's kind of fun just doing something that's weird and different. And like we've had people that like, this is not a big seller. Like it sells well, but it's not a like big seller for us. But we've had people that like tried it and then they come and they're like, "This is my thing. I'm getting a flat of this." You know,
right.
I want the Mountain Dew.
Yo, that's dope though. Like it's cool that like you've been able to do it in such a creative way that's like introduced people to a whole other style of alcoholic beverage that, I guess at the end of the day, this is going to become a bit of a thing. Like obviously seltzers are more of a summer product, I would imagine, than a winter product, because it's very like park chill, because it's super beach. Low. Yeah, whatever, exactly. Any of those type of chill situations, it's just like crush. It's a sweet, fruity little thing that you can just drink in the sunshine, and like, it's 5%, so it's not like too heavy. It's not overly sweet. But I think it's really smart as a brewery to get involved in this, because at the end of it, like, it's still in your wheelhouse. It's still a fermented product. It still uses grain, a lot of the similar things. It still takes the same type of creativity to create these, even if it was just like cherry vanilla flavor or something, as opposed to trying to recreate a soft drink like a pop that is popular. Either way, it's still like, it makes sense for breweries to do it. Like I don't know why you would want to miss out on that revenue stream. And and I guess unless that purist sort of thing is blocking you, which I get it. I couldn't see Godspeed doing something like this. They wouldn't do it. Makes sense for them. But like for breweries like to have a bit of fun and make some like wild shit, it's a little different. Like it makes complete sense. So these two flavors you've done first, there's going to be more, I hope?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. As long as people are still liking it, we'd like to do some more of them.
Nice.
I'm not sure exactly what we'll do next, but I think
Monster Energy.
Orange Crush,
Energy rip-off. And then do what Blood Brothers did and flip your label up and try to get sued to get some
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Why not, right?
Yeah, no. We were thinking about doing a Gatorade one also.
Oh, that would be sick.
Which one?
I'd be so down for that. I'll buy a flat of that. I'll be that guy.
Blue Gatorade. It's got to be blue, right?
No, it has to be blue. Because even it's funny you said that, because I was kind of looking at this, I'm like, man, this is a fucking tripper. Because I've got like a couple lights here, and it's just like the light is shining on my palm here. I can see it.
It kind of looks greenish.
Yeah.
It's like fluorescent.
It's like greeny. I mean, it looks like lemon lime juice, really. Like, it looks like exactly what you'd expect that to look like. But it's just sort of funny because you don't really get beers that are this color, so it's already trippy. So I can only imagine what blue Gatorade would be like. Being like, what am I drinking? Like, what is happening? And then you're drunk all of a sudden. You're like,
kind of a good gateway drink. So just for example, like your average bloke who's a craft beer nerd who has a girlfriend that doesn't really drink beer, this would be the kind of drink you could get them into the brewery and at least drinking some of the product, and then maybe they could get onto some fruity smoothie something or others, and then go up the totem pole. But this could be like one of those drinks that will get someone into drinking craft, or at least something that's not riddled with sugar and processed etc. So like, do you think that's why you want to keep this kind of drink on?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things just in general, actually. Like, I've been thinking about all these beers that the purists would say that aren't actually beer, and like part of it, I think, is exactly that. It's bringing in a wider tent of people into craft beer that maybe you would see as like not your traditional beer drinker people or whatever that would be stereotypical of like what you would say a traditional beer drinker would be. But like, I think that any of these things that can kind of bring people into the industry, they're going to try more things and they're going to like more things, you know, they might start with this, they might start with one of the smoothies, they might start with the hedonism, sours, they might start with anything, like traditionally, like I think people were like, the idea was, okay, we'll get them onto one of the lagers and then they'll try an IPA, that kind of works for people who are at least
like beer
and familiar with beer, but I mean, like in a society in North America and in Canada, that's like a melting pot culture of like a lot of different people and different people who like different flavors and different things, like you want to bring everyone you can into the industry. I mean, that's how you grow an industry. And like you want to have flavors that people can identify with. And it's kind of ironic because like 5 years ago you would say, what's the most approachable beer? Like a lager, probably, like a malty lager would probably be the most approachable beer, and that's kind of been run with, and people are doing that, and it's kind of almost like flipped the script in a sense where like the breweries that are doing mostly lagers are almost like presenting these lagers in like this high end way, where it's almost inapproachable in the way that they name the beers and the styles, which they're just calling them the style of the beer, but people don't know what a Zwickel beer is, or like these other styles, and it can be almost more intimidating, even though those beers are so approachable and so drinkable. Whereas like we can do something that's fucking weird, like a Mountain Dew seltzer, and people would be like, yeah, it's a Mountain, like I know exactly what I'm getting, it's a Mountain Dew seltzer,
it's a
like
fun, weird sort of
like a Black Forest cake chocolate, like chocolate milk stout, like they know what they're getting into. So it's a weird thing that's maybe not what someone would say would be a beer or a traditional beer or anything like that, but it brings people in because they can say, oh, maybe I don't like lager, maybe I don't like beer that tastes like beer, but I'm going to start here and I'm going to work my way in. And then, once you bring people in and they feel less intimidated, more welcome into the culture and like the beer community, and then I feel like they're more willing to say, oh, what's a Zwickel beer? Oh, I really like this, and like I think that like that's just an example. Whereas like I would like things to be a little bit more approachable for everyone, and that doesn't mean that you would have to say, okay, I'm not going to call it a Zwickel beer, I'm just going to call it a multi lager or a pale lager or whatever,
or amber German lager or something.
Yeah, like you can still, like I'd say still call it that, but like I would say just maybe try to position it so that you can bring more people into the industry, and that's what we try to do with the name, like what we call
the styles
of beers.
It's definitely a fun new angle, because like it's a fun way to introduce someone to the craft sort of world and what it has to offer, and then you find out it branches off so much. Like I've told a few people this, like Mike, our DJ for our music stuff, he really didn't like beer at all, because he used to drink Canadian when we were on tour and stuff, and any other beer I tried to give him was just bitter. No matter what it was, bitter, hated it. So then he found cider, and so he started drinking like some craft cider, because I gave him the 2-3 brands. I told him to drink some Revel and some other stuff. So he got into some ciders, and he lives out in Peterborough. He found some more, and he brought some to my house, and then he slowly got onto really into the cider world. And then I was like, man, you should try some sours. So like we went on a drive, went to Merritt, and he grabbed a bunch of the real from there. Like he just fell in love with sours, and then he got not off. So he got ciders to sours, and then onto I think he really liked double dry hop IPAs. Double IPAs were too much, but like getting him into the beer world via ciders was super interesting for me to watch his journey, and for me to recommend certain things and see what he did and didn't like. So circling back, it's good to have these kind of beers to bring newcomers in that don't like beery beer stuff, because then you can just bring them in through the side door rather than the front door. So they all have their place.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, even back when we were first like opening, we had we talked about the True Serum from the beginning, and we had tried, because our place used to be a high-end French restaurant. So right at the beginning, we'd have people come in still thinking it was the old restaurant. They would sit down, and they had sat, and so they were willing to try the new space out. But they would say, I'm not a beer person. I like wine. And we'd say, okay, well, we have a little bit of wine selection, but you're at a brewery, would you like to try some beers? We'll give you some samples. If you don't like anything, we have a good wine selection for you. And a lot of times they'd say, yeah, like I'll try a little splash of something. And we tried bringing them out the like lighter stuff, like the lagers and like some of the saisons and stuff. And like sometimes they would like it, sometimes they didn't. And then what we ended up finding out was we tried it with the True Serum IPA because it was like a lower bitterness and a little fruitier. And like I would say like 7 or 8 times out of 10, they would be like, oh,
Hooked.
damn, I actually like that. Like this is not really what I think beer is. And they're like, yeah, I'll have a pint of that. And they may have a pint of that. And then they maybe have a glass of wine or something after that. But at least you're getting someone in.
Got them in the door. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, who knows, maybe a year from then they're drinking, different kinds of beers, sours and whatever. And,
yeah.
It's,
It's definitely a fun way to get introduced to beer because, like, some of my friends have, all the different kind of mates that I drink beer with. Some of them have met me during, 6, 7, 8 years ago when, C and I were still trying every shit European beer at the LCBO just to go through the list.
Yeah.
And so our, like, beer curve was super long. We tried all the good, bad, and ugly in between styles. And then I've had friends that have just come and met me in, like, the last year or two, and I've given them the most fucking firebomb of everything, and I feel like they don't understand some of the shit styles. They have Godspeed, and they go, "Oh, this is no, sorry, I don't. This is not beer to me." I'm like, no, but I gave you the evolved like new 2021 double dry hop hazy bombs, and you can't even have an amber lager from Godspeed. Like, oh my god, I've done this all wrong. Yeah. Or I've introduced them to the fire too quickly, and then they don't they can't understand the other styles that got to how to know how we got to here. So some of my friends have gone through the journey like real quick, and others have gone along with me. So it's very interesting to see how people get introduced to certain tiers of beer so early on in their journey.
It seems like it all comes back around too, even though like I know
if you drink it for long enough.
yeah. But I mean, you'll even a lot of people too that come in and like even we get that a lot too. Like we see more of an interest in our lagers too, and I know they're the people that are interested in lager in general. But yeah, I mean, I think just like bringing people in, then they're like, oh yeah, here's a style. Like, what's this cool like European style? This cool new thing that's like a style from like 200 years ago.
It's like, brand new to them, yeah.
What's a dunkel? It's like, yeah, here, try this thing now. So like, I think like whatever door, front door, side door, back door, you can get people in trying things. I think that's it's the best.
I like it.
Yeah,
you guys make some really great points on these. This is dope hearing all of that. I didn't know that about Mike Brad. That's super cool. Like from ciders to sours to haze, and I've had experiences
crazy,
myself.
Man. You should see it. Like you would be genuinely shocked. Like we had town outside jokes, for example. He's like, oh, amazing. And that's that's not really high level crazy shit, but it's so well done. Pale ale. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's like that overtook Jutsu for me as like desert island beer kind of thing. Yeah, and Mike loved that, and he doesn't like IPA, so that just blew my mind. It's like he likes so any IPA.
It's the bitterness then.
Double dry hop that gets rid of the sharp end, then he loves it.
Right, and that's
and usually people like if there's no bitterness in the IPAs, people lose that stigma about beer being offensive to your palate and stuff.
Yes.
So,
so there's I think people still have a bit of a misconception as to the IPAs are bitter and all that stuff.
100%. Yeah.
That was 5 to 10 years ago. It's a whole new world, like you guys were saying. So I remember I had similar situations with Tiff's friends, wine drinkers, predominantly white wine drinkers. So I gave them some sours or some New England IPAs predominantly, and they lose their minds. Like back when you could let someone have a sip of your beer in a bar. Like, yo, try this. Obviously not happening anytime soon. Like, yeah, try this. And she's like, yo, one of Tiff's friends specifically, when we were in LA with her, she's just losing her mind. No, in New York, she was a travel nurse, so we were with her in multiple cities, and she was losing her mind at the beers. Like, in New York, other half is everywhere. So we're just at a restaurant, and like, what is that? What are you getting?
Good.
I'm like, yo, try it. And then she's like, yo, what is this? Like, not enough to convince her to get a pint. That wasn't my intention, but to the point where if I took her to a brewery, and I did in LA actually, we took her on a brewery tour, and she got to drink everything, and she quite liked a lot of the stuff because of that. And I think that's a really great point, and that's what I think a lot of the purists miss, because I understand when you're in that world, just like me and Nosha with the hip hop stuff, like this is all we know and everything else can fuck off.
Got the blinders on.
Got the blinders on. We managed to take it off, and we're much more cooler with everything else, and that's the only reason I can relate to some of these folks. But some of the people, even in 2020, well, I guess I can't speak for this year. It's been like 8 days, but like, you know,
what an 8 days it's been, mate.
Oh, what an 8 days.
Talk about
like,
that,
actually, let's not go there.
Sorry.
Shout outs to like love and positive energy to all our American brethren, man, that shit as well. But
keep it down the border. Keep it safe.
Keep like, but you know, as long as everyone's keeping safe. Yeah, but like, I feel like some of them just missed the point, and Matt, you nailed it when you were saying that like it's really about whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. If a Mountain Dew seltzer is what it's going to take to bring people into craft beer, then that's what it's about. Right now, we want to grow the industry. That's what everybody, both, you know, obviously yourself being part of it, we are adjacent to the industry. We feel our role is to, you know, tell the stories and expand and spread the gospel of beer to everybody. And one way to do that is to give people all the different variants. When, you know, it's quite boring to all of us. You know, Brad and I, we've been through that. We went through from the European lagers and the LCP, like you were saying, and discovering back in Ontario in 2011 when there wasn't that many breweries and everybody only made English styles, and it was, in comparison to today's standards, it was pretty boring, but it was interesting at the time, and we were like, wow, what is this? What is this? What is this? Oh, then you discover Belgians, and you go through this whole wheel, and then right now we're like creaming our pants over crispy boys again, which is weird because like this is just insane to me. Like this is insane to me. I love it. So I can drink this shit all the time. And even the last time Brad sent me a package, I'm like, just give me crispy boys. I said, don't give me IPAs.
Give me a sixer.
And he was like, all right, cool. But like that's where it's at. But some of the purists, and I hope they are able to understand eventually that, you know, it's not just about keeping it pure. It's really about bringing new people in, or the industry's not going to survive. Like, it really has to be, and that comes back into the diversity and inclusion conversation where, you know, people from different cultures have different tastes. And you've been, actually, this is a great little accidental segue. You did some great collabs with your Black is Beautiful and with the Decadent, with Ed and Miyoshi, T. Drinks and Craft Beer Phoenix, who are doing some cool stuff, spreading the word about that. Maybe talk about that, man, because I think you were one of the few breweries who get it, and, you know, get not only the value of everybody being involved in beer, but also, you know, once again, what I really, really appreciate about you from the first time we met and from following since then is just your willingness to just be like, whatever's fire, wherever's go, like whatever's interesting, whatever's cool, you got no pretense about you. You just like, let's make something fun. Like, yeah, talk about that a bit, man, because it's very interesting.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. No, when Weather Stoles first announced like the idea of the Black is Beautiful collab, you know, we knew we wanted to be a part of it. We knew we wanted to do something, and basically within that same week, Ed and Miyoshi reached out to us and were like, "Yeah, for sure, like let's do it." And I was like, you know, it was an imperial stout, and we had kind of like the base of our Malevolent series already like in the tank, so we were like, okay, well, cool, like perfect timing, just makes a lot of sense. We can do like a variant of it, and so I was like, okay, so like we have this base, you know, they're familiar with the base, and we were like, all right, like let me know what you guys think, like what's nostalgic to you, what kind of flavor do you guys want to do with it, just let me know, and like we'll kind of run with it. So they tossed out a couple of ideas, which was the coconut cakes, which was Mayoshi's idea. It was her grandma used to make them, and then she made them, and she actually made some for me to try just to get a sense of what it was, so that we could like put all the flavors right into the beer.
Dope.
So, and they were amazing, like super coconutty, and some chocolate note to it, and condensed milk as well. So like that's what we did. We just put a stupid amount of coconut in. We put some condensed milk in there, you know, some cocoa nibs, some vanilla, and we came up with this like really thick, like coconutty, like chocolatey stout. But at the same time, Ed had an idea too, which was what became of the Decadence afterwards. It was the pineapple chocolate rum idea, and in our first collaboration, I just wanted to make sure that we nailed the Black is Beautiful as well as we could, and I had a little bit more familiarity with coconut playing around with that one. So that's why we decided to go with that one first.
Right.
But I always said like, let's. I thought it was a cool idea. So like, let's do that one in the future. So that's what then became the Decadence. But like, I want to give a lot of credit to them for flavors too that they had, because the ideas they had, because like, just even with the idea of Rorschach is, everyone has different ideas of what, perceptions of flavor and how the same product people can perceive differently. But like, what's nostalgic to someone is maybe not nostalgic to someone else, or what is flavors are familiar to someone is maybe not familiar to someone else. And something that can make a ton of sense, someone maybe just not even know about, like, imagine any kind of food that you've tried for the first time and you're like, oh shit, this is like amazing. The first time you have sushi, the first time you have like anything, you're like, oh, I get it. Someone describes to you like, hey, by the way, we're going to go and eat raw fish.
On some rice.
You're going to be like, raw fish. Okay.
Gross.
And then, but you go and you try and you're like, this is my favorite food in the world now. Yes. Okay. If I could eat this every day, I would eat this every day.
Please.
And that's where like the combinations of ideas and cultures and being inclusive with as many people as possible is that's where you get the best ideas from, like that's where you get the best like collaboration of anything from. Yeah, it's like no one person knows everything, the best combinations of anything. I can play around in my head of what combinations make sense, but it's only through other partnerships that you're going to get like the best of it. And I think that's what came through the coconut cakes one. I mean, that one was one of the best imperial stouts that we've ever done, in my opinion. I mean, just such a deep coconut note, and it was so like thick and creamy. And then the Decadence that came through was like something that I never even thought could have worked the way that it did, just how much pineapple came through and how much chocolate, and it was like still creamy body but still like refreshingly pineapple. And there wasn't, a ton of rum character. We put some molasses in, and we obviously can't just put rum into a beer, and it wasn't a beer that we really kind of could barrel age in an efficient way. But yeah, no, it turned out amazing. So like, I give them all the credit for the ideas of the for that. And I think we're just gonna keep working together and keep kind of doing this every a little while, come together, and hopefully they can like bring some things to me that I wouldn't have thought of. Maybe I can kind of put my own twist on something that they maybe wouldn't have thought of. And I really like these collabs. And these the idea of doing these kinds of beers, any kinds of beers that I know when I was speaking with Ed and Miyoshi about like what kind of beers that they wanted to do, I know they like all kinds of beers, but I think they, at least from what I understand about our conversations, they particularly like stouts, and so do I, and that's a nice connection there, but also like these big adjunct flavored stouts is like, if I can create nostalgia, or if we can create nostalgia together for like a different kind of a community that like wouldn't exist, in beer before, that's really cool too. Like if someone like a Caribbean person can try the coconut cakes and like be brought their form of nostalgia through a beer, like the Mountain Dew brings nostalgia for like, the like 90s kids in North America probably, or I'm sure
we had it too.
Mountain Dew,
we had Pepsi,
cool. Yeah, that's
good. We got Code Red and everything.
Yeah, man.
I guess I would be surprised if Pepsi didn't send that all around the planet, but
maybe not initially, but I guess they ended up.
We got it eventually.
We didn't get all the fire stuff. We only
we
missed out. Like I think we had vanilla Coke, but we didn't get like cherry Coke. All that type of stuff. Like it was, Australia always was left behind. I think nowadays it's not quite like that. I think everything is much more global. But back in the 90s and even early 2000s, we didn't get shit. It was really annoying. So I had to come here. But no, that's super sick, man. I like that you've been able to do that and create that. Is that the Black is Beautiful? Would that ever come back? Because you can. I guess you're probably aware that is a reoccurring. Like it wasn't like the All Together, which was like this one time.
The one-time thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't spoken with Miyoshi about it, but I'd certainly be up for doing either the same thing or a different idea, maybe that they would have, or that we could kind of work on together. That would be something that we could also, do something else that would contribute to all the causes that need like a lot of
support,
support and contribution right now, and that's I think it was just such a great idea, that one, and the Weathered Souls initiative, that hopefully it does, even if it's just some money that goes into some great organizations, that's good, but hopefully it, in as widespread as craft beer is, hopefully at least kind of, if there's anyone who isn't brought on, keeps just slowly bring people onto the awareness and the idea of how much, of a problem that is, in all societies.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely the key. It's going to be the key driver, I think, of growth in the industry, is the diversity. Because there's only so many bearded white guys, as people were saying before, that you see in here. It is, there's only so many of people who look like us that can be into it. And at the end of the day, flavor is for every human being. And it's just more that beer hadn't been introduced to many communities, and it's sort of the way that it was rolled out just is what it is. But once again, this is why I applaud people like yourself and breweries like Rorschach that are just, just more interested in doing that, like you said, because not whilst to us beer nerds, you think, you have a lager's the intro, but it's not now. It's 2021. So you just really can't think that way. And if you're not making haze, you're not doing sours, you're not doing something fun like seltzers or even the smoothies that are, I don't want to categorize certain people, but people just might like sweeter drinks. So people who like cocktails will probably like these certain things. People who like white wine will like this, blah, blah, blah. People who just like the cooler, the ready-to-drink stuff will like things like, this. So, there's multiple entry points. Plus, you've also got the traditional stuff with stuff like this. So, you've really hit all the different angles that
there are at the moment.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, there's not that many other breweries that we have all of those things. Boxes ticked as far as entry points. And I feel like it's arguably the most important thing you could do, because there's so many. It's great to have all this shit for the beer nerds like all of us, and you guys are doing this, and we can nerd out over it, and that's great. But at the end of the day, we want this to grow, because if it doesn't, it benefits all of us. There's going to be more breweries, more people. The breweries themselves get larger. It helps us as the media thing, more stuff to talk about, more things that we can do. So it's cool, because I feel like it was there was 3 breweries in Quebec that did Black is Beautiful. It was pretty bad. In Ontario, I think it was just shy of 30 out of about 200, 250. I think 250 in Ontario, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know there's 400 plus if you include contracts, but I'm not sure about bricks and mortars. I understand why contract breweries.
Absolutely. Oh, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And getting the skew.
Mid 200s. Yeah. That's not a large number. You're talking 10%, which is still not.
It's a shame.
It's not great.
Yeah, it definitely is a shame. I know it's a cause. It's a cause that affects everybody. Maybe people feel like it's more. Did Matt freeze?
Looks like it.
It's it's almost like every hour.
Honestly,
because it's another hour and then he's
hour
freezing.
And a minute, hour and 3 minutes, hour and 5.
Yeah, I'll hold off on that line of thought until he's back. But yeah, good questions, man. I didn't know that about Mike. That's really cool. So for people who don't know, Notion and I do music. We moved to Canada 10 years ago. We make hip-hop music. The theme song for the podcast is one of my songs called Brewheads, mixed and mastered by this, hang on, point this way, this young man over here.
Somewhere here.
Yeah, he's over there. And yeah, so we have a DJ, and we were touring a lot in 2013, 14, and probably start of 15. We did our first solo tour. Yeah. And them kind of tours just seemed not as valuable. But yeah, so that's really cool that I like seeing out the trajectory of our friends in the beer game, because beer has become basically equally as important to us as music, arguably. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been 6 years. It's been 10 years this month for me with this fucking stupid take pictures of myself, and then 6 years in April since BAOS podcast
since
the podcast started. That's pretty crazy, and
that's insane. I keep forgetting, like, 10 years since we,
it's fucking wild, dude. It's really
honestly
wild.
Insane. That's so nuts.
It really is, and for us to be able to do this consistently this long, it shows that there's a passion from us. So that's dope.
Yeah.
But I like seeing, because I remember converting you, like, back in the day. Me and Scott weren't that much. I don't know, 6 months to a year ahead of you. It wasn't that long. It's only because me and Scott.
Yeah, it was like 5-6 months. It was not even. I remember because I still occasionally
You would try our stuff. You were drinking Rickard's Red and shit, and you were trying it. My favorite thing ever was when you did a review. I wrote my review of a beer was whatever you said. I was like, Notion said, and there was a beer. Do you remember that?
Honestly, I'd love to fucking see that.
It was a rogue beer. Sick. There he is. We got him back.
Oh, okay, from the States.
From the States,
back.
Yes. We were like, nuts. It was like every hour. Every hour, Skype's like, "Fuck you, we're gonna keep you mad."
Like, hang on, just give me a sec. Let me just.
I think it's my internet is probably. You know what? It's funny because like probably about 2 or 3 months ago, this was kind of happening about every half hour or whatever. It would shut down for like 30 seconds or a minute, and it was good for like months, and then now today.
Of course. Today seems to be the technology fuck you day for everybody. So, you know what? The fact that we're 2 hours, 10 minutes deep, we good, bro. We good. This is amazing right now. We are blessed. Well, we were saying, I wanted to stop my train of thought because I wanted to keep saying it. I wanted to make sure you heard it. We were talking about the Black is Beautiful stuff. All about why people didn't do it. Yeah, so people might not have thought that it was like enough of it a thing for Canadian. And look, to be fair, 98.7% of breweries are white dudes with beards type of thing. So like, and then a lot of these breweries are in towns that maybe aren't very diverse, and they might not have any friends that don't look like them. So there's like just a general lack of understanding. So I don't always think I really do believe it's not intentional from a lot of people. It might feel like that, but I don't think it is. I think it's a matter of education. I don't think there's bad intent from most people. You're fortunate. You're in Toronto. You're a cosmopolitan dude. You're out here. Like, you get it. The Toronto breweries definitely get it. I feel like the Montreal, Quebec's a different thing, so it's probably not even fair to bring it up. But like, Toronto is one of the most, if not the most multicultural city on the planet. If you grew up in Toronto. Yeah. So like, if you didn't, we've only been in Canada 10 years, but like we see it. It's like Melbourne was pretty cosmopolitan as well. We always thought it was probably the most in Australia, but it's a different level here. There's more groups of people from different places just because Australia is so far. So here it's more, you've got people in South America and Africa, Middle East and Asia and everywhere. And there's like, everyone's come together and there's neighborhoods.
It's way more central, yeah.
Yeah, and there's just so many things you can grow up with. Tiff's friends are like literally every single background you can think of. And I feel like it's just more of that's just how people in Toronto think. It's just it's all you know. You don't really need to even think too much else about anything else. So other breweries that are in small towns 4 hours from Toronto that are 99% white people, I mean, I guess you've got to give them a break in the sense they can only do so much. But hopefully, now with the internet, everybody has access.
Be a little more aware and woke.
Basically, really is what it comes down to. So I hope that if people keep doing something like this Black is Beautiful concept to show, not only fantastic stouts, but just, to give back to the community, to show people, I'm sure people keep seeing the same label everywhere. Like, what is this? What is this all about? And, hopefully someone will encourage them to do it. And over time, I like that it's a continuous thing. I haven't seen many breweries do it. I know there's one here that's redoing theirs this is one of the first ones I've seen here in Quebec. But, I feel like it's, I think it's great that you've done multiple collabs with these dudes who are great people and they're always pushing for good things. And the fact that and it's cool because it's bringing you more interesting. The fact that that's so sick to me that she brought you like the food. So you're like, all right,
the actual cake,
And as
dope.
The person in charge of making the flavors, you're just like, okay, I get that. I can do this to make it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that is super cool to me. And that's something, once again, that if it wasn't for that diversity of cultures and that cultural influence and those flavors, that wouldn't exist. And then the beer community benefits from that. So it's this very wonderfully reciprocal thing that with the more people involved, everybody wins. That's great.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's it's crazy. I mean, like even some of the other ideas that we one of our first chef, his name's Arturo, a good friend of Ben, who's our good friend, and he became a very good friend of ours. He's originally from Mexico, so that was part of actually like thinking
the horchata and stuff.
Horchata,
yeah,
that was part of the inspiration of why we did that in the first place. I remember our Instagram post because he was in the kitchen. He was kind of peeking his head around when I was taking the picture, and I was like, "All right, you sneak your little head."
Yeah, sneak it in there.
And so that was the Instagram post. So it was, and even Reminiscence was part of it too, because like, he always. Loved the Reminiscence, was one of his favorite beers too, and that was kind of why we ended up calling that in the first place. We actually like on the tap handle or on the bar upstairs for which tap it is. It still has his name on the Mexican lager tap from like 3 years ago since it was there. So it was I mean like it's how else are you gonna like that's the best part of a multicultural city and the best part of the world, like just meeting different people and backgrounds and I mean it's great being a part of it. And we're talking with Ed and Mayoshi to do another collab once all this everything kind of dies back down and we can actually get them in for a proper full brew day and we can sit down and actually like do a full brew together, because even with the Black is Beautiful, the pandemic was still going on then, so they couldn't come in for the whole time for that, and then we thought it would be over by the time we would do the Decadence, but it was getting worse then, so they weren't able to come in for that one. So we have another one planned for early next year, early this year, or at some point this year, whenever we can
actually get people
kind of get back. Get in and actually do something. So we'll keep going back and forth about some different ideas, and they've had two amazing ideas so far. So I'll keep rolling that hot dice.
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. Remind me afterwards. I keep thinking, just as you were talking, I got 4 ideas for fun beers that are culturally specific to Notion and I. Remind me.
Talking about it offline.
Yeah, like actually like crazy shit that could work that I haven't really seen. Just the way you just spoke about that, I was like, yeah.
I have an idea of where you're going with this. I think I might. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's super cool, man. I think it's great. I just want to make sure we talk about that. How are we looking? Are we still going with the green? Okay, I'm going. I'm just drinking quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, y'all still good. So the seltzers are going to be a regular thing. That's what I really wanted to confirm, was that the seltzers are going to keep doing it, because I feel like it's almost like the seltzers started to get some traction, and then maybe like Smoothie Sours, from what it feels like, kind of started to dominate the conversation. Kind of took over, I guess, is probably
the focus.
Yeah, they took the focus off seltzers a bit, and I feel like it's also because seltzers just, the difference with Smoothie Sours and seltzers are just straight summer, like straight warm weather products. And I feel like the interest, I bet if you looked at the LCBO, because they sell White Claw and all that stuff, I bet you look at the graphs and they're just going, like the balloon drops right down. But Smoothie Sours don't feel as much, because typically they're either combinations of fruit or they're trying to mimic a dessert. Sometimes I've seen ones, that are trying to, like Brewski are pretty wild. They did like a blueberry cobbler or a fucking raspberry strawberry cheesecake, and they actually put cream cheese in it and stuff, like, which is pretty bonkers.
Nice.
Like if you want to talk about Team Lactose, like Jesus Christ. So like,
I mean,
those don't feel as right. It's like so wild, but that doesn't feel as seasonal as say something like the seltzers. So I really do hope these bad boys. And look, I don't know, it's minus whatever it is right now, and it feels delightful to drink this. Like, these shouldn't be as much, but I just imagine that because they're so heavily associated with that outdoor park, picnic, balcony, patio kind of vibe, that maybe they're not sort of moving at the same rate.
Yeah, I would be curious because we released this in the winter, so I would be curious how something like this does in the summertime. I think ours has a little more like sweetness, obviously, because it's got the syrup blended in than most of the seltzers, which I don't know if that like takes away from part of the selling point of the seltzer being relatively low calorie and like a lot. I mean, it still is very.
Is it low cal?
No, ours I don't think it is.
Because the syrup, right?
The same calories as like a soda pop. That's the thing.
Oh,
right?
okay. Because it's
like,
the sugar.
It's probably about the same because we use similar ratios of all this stuff, right? So it's probably about the same. I mean, a soda is about the same as a beer, and like in terms of calories. But yeah, ours definitely isn't low calorie in that way.
Right.
Yeah, White Claw has no flavor though. This actually has a flavor. You can obviously taste the syrupy part, but you can tell that it's a blend of lime and lemon, and it's got some actual like front flavor, like a pop would.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like the White Claws and other things, that it's like it tastes like bubbly water air with no zing to it. There's no flavor. It's just like straight. Like this actually tastes like something. So I don't know. This definitely has heaps of potential because the other ones don't grab me at all. I've only had them because I've had guests leave one at my house. I'm like, let me see what this is about. It says that it's alcohol on the side, not even actually doesn't tell you what it is. It sounds like a bunch of
It's the other stuff, I think. It's the one, like, there's the malt or the grain version. It's the one that Matt was talking about with that's like, is vodka based, you said?
Yeah, I think they're basically just blending in vodka into, or some kind of neutral grain spirit into.
Yeah, so
that's what I've heard. Neutral grain spirit.
Seltzer.
Yes.
Neutral grain. Yeah, it's mad. Those ones are mad tasteless. This has got like a good sugary, syrupy flavor to it. They can just so
it's fun to
mad
drink.
Legs.
Yeah,
it's fun to drink.
Yeah,
it is kind of funny because I'll pop one every once in a while. I put it in the glass and all of a sudden it's gone, and I'm like, did I drink it that quick? Because like if you go take out whatever McDonald's, whatever, you get a soda, it goes down quick, and you're like, yeah, of course, but there's no alcohol in that.
No,
and so like this is like, oh shit, it just disappeared. But also that was 5% alcohol.
Oh yeah, it's. I feel like these and the smoothies are extraordinarily problematic as far as how fast.
The smoothies even more so.
The smoothies, you just down them. I find that particularly because your other, aside from the nomopathy, the other lagers are in the small cans that you have, the Serenity.
Yeah.
Bro, I fucking put them back so fast. Like that's as dangerous to me, and I'm not a volume drinker. I'm a bit of a lighter weight dude, but when it comes to those, particularly the small cans, fuck man, they're the best. I really appreciate the small cans. I think we were talking about that
way more
when we came by, like the value that you have. I also do appreciate the tall can for this one.
Yeah,
because it gives us a little bit more.
It's a good move to keep those big.
Yeah, and just a straight up and down Pilsner with a little bit of New World hops in them. Like, it's just glorious to me. But then also, there's been so many times where it might be coming to the end of the night, and I'm like, I think that's what we were saying, though. We were saying, like, I was like, I don't want to fucking fight. I don't want to pop a pint right now, but I could do a 5%.
I could do a small can.
Short can, are they 355 or 330?
Yeah.
355.
355. Like, that's like, nothing, let's go. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a little stout, like this bad boy, like a seltzer, the smoothie.
Fuel volume thing.
I don't know. Move. I think that's also a super. So that was a fairly, obviously a intentional move to put most of the products in the short cans.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that I don't know if it's like a catch-22 or chicken or egg kind of situation where, like, I know on the East End in Toronto, it just seems like that's. Like, I mean, I love it too.
Good
I don't know
point.
if it's just like we all kind of caught.
Everyone's doing
it.
Yeah. Started with Left Field, didn't it?
Yeah, like Left Field and Godspeed, I think started right away.
And then everyone's got small cans.
But I know Eastbound started in the short cans right away, and and we were doing tall cans, but we weren't canning everything because just our space wasn't conducive to it. And
you were bottling early on too.
Yeah, we were bottling early on. Again, we had our own bottler. And then we decided just let's roll everything into the short cans. I think we started with it when we said, okay, well, we're going to go move away from the bottles and put the sours in the cans and the IPAs. And then we said, okay, Maybe the short can makes the most sense because I was drinking beers from Left Field and Godspeed, Eastbound, and all the guys around here, and the short cans. And I was really loving the short cans after that too, because like same thing you guys were talking about. Like it's just a little thing.
It's a
Here,
little guy.
Not as intimidating.
But it's it's one of those two. Like there's a couple of things. Just do. I don't know if this is a subconscious thing or anything, but like I was trying to think of why I like them, and like part of it is, you can try a lot of things, and that also means, okay, well, if you have the short cans themselves, you can have, let's say, 3 short cans in a night instead of 2 tall cans. It's about the same volume, but you get to try 3 beers instead of 2. Yeah. But also, if you're going to a brewery and you want to spend, let's say, $50 on beer, you can get probably about a third more varieties of beer if that's what you're looking for, and still spend the same amount of money. So I think that's part of it as well. And then it's just here's the little guy, and it's also, I think part of it is from a consumer perspective of especially with the bottles, even the tall cans, you spend like $7 on a bottle or $5 on a tall can, or you spend like $3.50 or $4 on a short can. If I don't like it,
less
okay,
risk.
It was $3, $4, whatever. If I don't like the bottle, that's $8. That's a lot of money for me to like not like a beer. So I think those are all part of it. But I just really like it. I don't know why. It just like when we were doing the tall cans first. When we started doing the short cans, I was holding the can. I was like, this feels so weird. It's so small. And now, because we pretty much everything in the short cans except for when we can the Normopathy and the Reminiscence, when we do those ones, I comes off the line. I'm like, this is so
massive.
I remember getting when me and Brad and my one of our friends went in end of December 2017. I enjoyed Truth Serum, so I bought a 4-pack, and it was the big guys. So I remember that specifically, and it was cool to see them check. I never thought of it in the way you just said that you get like a third more variety if you're going to spend about the same amount of money because of the short cans. And even when, I just always think my beer drinking patterns or habits or whatever are different than most because of the media thing, and I've got to get through more in a shorter time because of content. But like, it's very rare that I'd really want that full pint or tall can. I would prefer short cans of everything, every time.
That's a good point.
Almost no exceptions, and even more that we did the last podcast we did last year. We were joking, and I'd seen them before, but I feel like they come up more. You can get 8-ounce cans of imperial stout. They're like that. They're like that big, and like. Who wants more than 8 ounces of a 10% plus beer for the most part?
Man.
Right, so it was like just basically half a can, and then these little mini.
Is that like the airplane size cans?
Basically, I think airplanes even give you these now, but like
probably
the ones you were talking about were back in
the old school. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, the cola companies released that like a while back. I think they were pushing for something. I don't know what they were. I don't know what reason they were doing it, but they had the little short cans for a while, and then it never really became.
They probably sold them to everyone to use.
Yeah,
but it's genius, and I feel like for an imperial stout, like I've never seen them in Canada, but it was funny because we had a Quebec. It was me, Noah, the Quebec beer writer, and another Quebec Instagram friend of ours, and we were all joking about that. And then in the group chat we had, Noah sent like 3 or 4 different screenshots of different American breweries, like Evil Twin and stuff, doing the short cans, because we were like, yo, who needs more than that? I'm like, yeah, it's a good point, like. Because that's what you want if you're going to be there drinking by yourself. If you're not sharing it, like 8 ounces is perfect of that.
Yeah.
And then this size is perfect for I guess 8% or less. And it's just interesting because I feel like there's a need for all sizes, but I didn't even also think about that. Most of the East End breweries are doing the short cans, and it's like this whole cultural thing for that side of town. It's very dope.
Yeah, it's interesting that it might just be a who knows, like a very local regional thing, like preference, of it, because I know like I think Burdock started with the short cans too. I think it's slowly taking over as well. I think because all these reasons, I think most people prefer to try. Like part of it is just variety and trying it. But I mean, we've noticed it as well too. Even with our imperial stouts, like we don't can it just because we do such small volumes of most of the varieties that we do. So we'll bottle it all. But we were doing 500 ml bottles and we switched down to 375s.
Definitely good, yeah.
And it's like, even for me, I used to open one every once in a while just to test it, see it's going in. Like I would drink like half a bottle and I would just be knocked out, And like now the 375, I'll still drink half a bottle, but I'm not,
not trashed.
I'm not trashed. But, but at least one of those sizes, like if that's your beer for the night and you like, let's say you like the stouts, and you like, especially the imperial stouts, and you just want to crack one of those and that's your like one beer for the night and it's 12%, and you have like 375 ml is like 13 ounces or something like that, right? So like your one thing, like you're not going to get fucked up for the next day probably.
It doesn't really touch the size. I noticed if you have that size, like essentially the bottles that you have are around this size, like I feel like if you eat and that's all you have, I feel like I'm not even tipsy. And I'm light. Yeah. I'm a real lightweight. But if that's all you have...
I agree with what you're saying, man.
Yeah, and then but that's it. I'm like, sometimes I'll have it on the nights when I plan to not drink, but it might be like 11 o'clock. I'm like, oh, fuck it.
It's weird that you can't... Like, sometimes you don't get phased by an 11% beer. Like...
Only if I'm... But if I've had
shocking.
anything else before... If you're fed, but if you've had nothing else beforehand, good to go. Personally, anyway. That's what I found. But if I'm having it, like, at the end of a... Like, say if we decide to do one tonight, I'll probably just put a stopper. I got a little stopper on it. Yeah, keeps it fizzy for the next day, and she's good to go. Yeah, I love that. Those things are great. But yeah, that's a good point, man. I like that you did that. That you moved. I think that's a really good point because the 8 ounce are a little more dramatic as far as the real single serve.
I'd like to, if we ever, hopefully soon we can get our own canning line. I mean, there's space issues just in our space as it is, but like if we ever go down that road, we can kind of set it up so that we can do that. But I'm sure if we ask, we use Northern Canning and they're great for us. But if we got the cans and asked them, and I think there's a different kind of setup, so it might be a lot of a cost to kind of get that done. But I thought it would be cool to try it in those little short cans because I've never like experienced from that short can. I'd be curious what it would be like just cracking one and seeing what it is because the 375 bottles are like they're definitely like the top end of what you want of something like a 12% barrel aged.
Oh yeah, is that what yours are? 12?
Yeah, 11.9. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's about to be a problem. Are we gonna do one of those? Are we gonna do one of those before we do the final one? Or what do you think the move is?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to try one, I think you guys got the tequila and then the
brandy.
Syrup.
Correct. Yeah, the apple brandy and maple bourbon or something, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'd be down for it, even if we do a little half glass of them.
Yeah, a little half glass, and then we can finish off. We could probably check how the other ones are going because I guess I know we told people, but we popped the Heresy in the freezer to get that real slushy experience. I feel like it's been about 3 hours now.
Yeah, maybe it's too frozen.
Maybe it's too frozen. Should we do that first?
No, I actually put a timer on the other ones that I had, and like I had a 2.5 hour timer, and the can felt like
good,
not even frozen. I put it in for like 3 and a smidge, and it was good. There was barely
any water left,
liquid in it. Yeah, it was okay. It was almost perfect.
Should we do that
with a can opener?
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah, can opener on the top.
Oh shit! Okay, I'm gonna have to do that because I tried one. I tried just up in the top tab at it.
The tab just snaps off.
Okay. Can you imagine?
Stab it with a butter knife.
Should we do that before we do the stout, or what do you think the move is?
I would like to do, because then the fruit after the seltzer and then the stout to end it, skitty pop.
Yeah? All right.
I think.
Sure.
I'm with it. All right.
Let's do it.
Yeah, grab yours first, man. Go for it.
Cool. I'm going to have to get a can opener.
Yes, I'm going to do that too.
That's true.
That's actually hilarious. Because when I did it in Toronto, I didn't do a can opener. But I did it for like 2 hours, so it was kind of like 3/4.
You still had room to move the thing.
Yeah, it was 3/4 slush and like a quarter of the liquid still, but it still it looked cool.
That was mine when I did it.
That's what you did, yeah. So this is the longest I've kept it in there. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, grab that. No, yeah. I'll hold it down. Yeah, guys. So basically, Rorschach has a series of smoothie sours called Heresy, which is hilarious because it's the sours that everyone's mad about called Heresy. I love that. And there's been a bit of a thing online recently that people are putting them in the freezer and turning them into actual like slushies. So when we briefly popped by Rorschach to pick up the beers just before New Year's, we talked about that, and I tried it because I happened to have one, and I tried it, and it was pretty cool. Like I really enjoyed it. Notion, you also tried it. And we're about to do it tonight. We thought, you know what, let's do it on the podcast. If we put it in, we actually had an hour delay before this thing started because of all the tech difficulties, unfortunately. But we're ready. I'm excited. I'm here for it. And it's actually really, really, really funny that we need a can opener. Is yours hard enough that you can't pull the tab?
I can pull the tab, but I want to open it with a can so I can slap the whole thing into the glass.
Right.
Because if you can open the top, cool, but then all the good stuff is not going to come out.
All right.
Yeah, so you got to open the whole thing so you get all the slush, the big chunks of slush.
Okay. I'm gonna go grab mine. You guys can talk for a second and start cracking them. I'll be back in a sec.
Sweet as. Did you pre-can yours, Matt?
I tried to. I don't know. My can opener's a piece of shit, so I'm just gonna squeeze it out.
I don't know where I acquired this can opener from, but it's done me well. I've used it 4 times in probably 10 years, so this will be the 5th.
Yeah.
And the reason I know it works because I used it the other day to open the Berry Blast.
The Berry Blast.
Oh man, it just fizzed over my shit. Oh no.
Oh shit.
Fizzed on my. Oh man, I'm gonna have to wipe that down. Nothing like sticky beer all over your equipment. Oh, once you get past the first turn, it is super easy. Props to my can opener.
Yeah, I wasn't getting it, so it's all squeezing out now.
Oh mate. Now see, you gotta get the lid off. That's the other hard part. Just fell in. Okay, 1 second here.
I feel like this maybe isn't meant to be how beer is.
Oh, that is wild. I can do this. I can do it. Okay, we're open. We're in. I hope C's doing okay. Oh fuck! There is tropical punch juice all over my keyboard, and on my face and my hand.
Dan, take our can opener. Why did he? It's not here.
So he can't find his can opener. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Oh no!
Oh man, did yours come out in a huge block?
No, I guess maybe.
Oh, okay. The top part was really frozen.
That's amazing.
Oh, that is so good. See that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Nothing left. Came out like in a solid blob. This is better than the last one I did.
All right. How'd you go?
Did you find a can opener, dude?
Dan has it, and Dan might be asleep. He's downstairs.
Get fucked.
So I might have to, unless he responds pretty shortly.
Why did he gank can opener?
Okay, no, he's bringing it up. There we go. I don't know, because he didn't have one, so we lent it to him, but I didn't really think about it. He's bringing it up.
Okay. Mine came out in one huge little glub. It was
sick.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah. So
then you know when like you order a mango smoothie from like a juice store, and they pull that last little bit from the the blender into the top.
Yes.
It kind of, and it layers on itself like it's fucking velvet.
Ooh, is like that? Oh,
Sick,
that's
man,
so
yeah.
sick. How's it look,
Yeah.
Matt?
This is
I want to bite
I
it.
just squeeze it out.
Oh, you squeeze it out?
Yeah, you have to
My
squeeze
can
it,
opener is a
otherwise it
piece of
doesn't
shit.
really.
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working?
Yeah, that's that guy right there.
Oh,
Ooh.
great, mate.
I might
Make sure I
try.
don't get it on my keyboard.
Right? I got.
Yeah, mine sprayed everywhere. See, I got to wipe my shit down later. It wasn't cool.
Oh, that's not good.
It was very minor, but it went like evenly everywhere. Nothing was wrong. It just went.
So we were just
Wrong
saying.
mistake.
I was saying to the people
Lick it off.
just while you guys were running to get them that this has become like a bit of a thing in the smoothie sour kind of online world where people are putting them in the freezer and then can opening the cans to you know to get all the goodness out, because really this is kind of like a super fun way to consume these beers. It's, you know, because there's just such a high level of fruit and sugar in there, they freeze up real nice, kind of like a 7-Eleven slushy type of situation.
Way better. It's a healthy version.
Obviously way better.
yeah, it's something that one of our customers came in and mentioned to me. Yeah, I hadn't known, but yeah, I mean, it's been going around. It's and they were like, yeah, put it in the freezer. I was like, no. They're like, yeah, we opened it with a can. Huh?
Crazy.
Okay.
Did that blow your mind or what?
What made me laugh was someone, I don't know if it was the same person or if it was a different person, but they mentioned it also, and they're like, do you guys recommend keeping it in the freezer? And I was like, I got confused for a second, because I guess they were probably just asking whether or not we could say you can put it in the freezer. And obviously my answer is I'm not saying that you can put it in the freezer. I mean, I've done it, it's okay, but I don't recommend it necessarily. I mean, yeah, sure, but I mean, officially as the brewery, I'm not going to say that. But
No, of course not. It's dangerous.
But At first, I thought they meant like store it in the freezer. I was like, why the fuck would you store it in the freezer? Like, you know? And I was like, oh, you mean keep it in the freezer for a couple hours and then make a slush? Oh yeah, fuck, I gotta try that. So
What's a game changer, dude?
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
God.
It's just such a. I feel like I can feel just like a little bit. I think I really did it with this one. I'm excited for this. But yeah, it's just such a dope idea, because it's like the perfect beer. Like, you know, everyone's used to accidentally leaving a beer in the freezer for too long when they were trying to make it.
Then you're so upset because you ruined it.
And then the top of it explodes and stuff, and blah blah blah. But these things are basically built for it. It's so sick. It's such a fun. This is, once again, comes back to beer is fun. Like, how can you be mad at this?
Yeah.
Like, it's still a Berliner Weiss at the end of the day. It's just got a shit ton of fruit. It's like, and now you can freeze it and make it fun. Like, dude,
And you just
like,
made it even more fun. Like,
made it even
next
more
level of
fun. Next level
Yeah.
of fun. Like, damn near need to eat the shit with a spoon. I can't wait.
Frontier of fun.
Yeah, new frontier of fun. I love that.
That's the episode name.
I called it Smoothie Heresy because of this. Because of the name.
Well done.
That's my
mate.
temporary name, because I knew
like
that's
that.
what we
I
were.
like that.
Because I knew we were
Nice.
doing this. I knew people might be a bit pissed about it. I just really want to showcase these styles because I just think they're fantastic. And honestly, man, this is like top, like A1 level shit. Like, this is phenomenal stuff. Like, you really nailed it. So I know we've been touching on it for 2.5 hours, but now we can finally actually talk about them for the next fucking 2.5 hours. These beers are approximately 40% fruit, or 400 grams per liter fruit. Is that, I know we were speaking about it in person, but is that approximately accurate?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's approximately accurate. Yeah.
Okay.
What's the ratio?
Thank you, baby.
Yeah, it's about 40.
There it is.
Yeah, it's about 40% fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I need a spoon.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go get one because
Go get it.
It's good to stir it because it's like the delicious sort of puree sort of slush at the top. Then there's this golden gold liquid at the bottom. I need to just give it a stir.
Yeah, I'm on that.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, it's not even like opening. Okay, keep talking, Maddie.
Yeah, no, I had a hard time opening up. That's why I just said fuck it and tried to squeeze it. But
Yeah.
I think
Digging a little deeper.
you know, these styles are just Yeah, it's about 40% fruit. This one is boysenberry, blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, and cherry.
Okay.
So we call it berry blast because all the 5 berries wouldn't fit on the front of the can.
Wow.
There's so many berries.
But in hindsight, maybe I should have put what berries were somewhere on the can. But all the space was taken up by on the side of the can that says "Made with fresh fruit puree. Keep refrigerated at all times." This can
The
must be
important
refrigerated
disclaimer.
at all times. Keep it refrigerated at all times.
Oh my gosh, it's just.
I think I say on 4 places. Keep refrigerated at all
This is
times.
not. Can you get a cloth? Yeah.
Insane.
I love it.
Did it go everywhere like mine did?
Like as in like it cut a hole in the side and now I can't pour it. And
shit.
And I also can't take the can opener off. It's like stuck to it.
Oh my goodness, mate.
It's just such.
Doing it wrong.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I put like a. Here we go. It's not good, but
Yeah, shotgun.
So sometimes you have to get caveman with this shit. It's dripping everywhere.
It's not even flush.
yeah.
Oh man,
Sorry, babe. I just poured it.
it's a whole thing.
There you go.
There we go.
It's worth it though. Oh, look at that.
Oh, hey, he just maybe like.
And I must say, boys, I did the flavor that you guys are having right now. I had it last week.
Yeah.
So when we came to visit you, Matt, I grabbed some extras to go just because I wanted to crush during the week. And so I drank one of those and I drank one of these and then I froze one of those and had it the next day. And now I'm having this the following week. Like, they're both exceptional.
Yeah.
And I can't tell which one's my favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm eating a beer with a spoon, just so you guys, in case anyone wanted to know.
We're making a
That's so good.
history here.
Right?
I've never eaten beer with a spoon.
I almost feel like
yeah.
I feel like in hindsight, mine wasn't. Look what the can opener did to it. That's fucked up. We need a new can opener.
You have a
Yeah, I feel like
savage
ours is
can
a good
opener,
one.
dude.
Yeah.
IKEA,
Oh.
thanks.
Yeah, IKEA's trash, man. But like, I feel like mine isn't like it's just like really cold and thick, but it's not like slurpy-ish like yours knows. Mine was like that on Christmas.
This is exactly 3 hours, I think. Like it was, you know how we text and said I'm going to put the can in the fridge. I did it exactly then
Yeah, so I did too. I don't know why.
when the episode started.
I feel like I could have like just cracked the top like Matt did and just made it less complicated. But hey, it was
Well,
worth.
it goes away pretty quick, and it turns into, it's a little more movable now, so they can actually drink it. But in the first 5-10 minutes, you need a spoon. Now it's like I can just get a nice even, bunch of slush.
Well, you got like a big like iceberg there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's separating out. It's interesting. Yeah, the I guess just by nature of the fruits, the berries have a lot more like fruit pulp to it. So the tropical one is mango, passion fruit, pineapple, guava.
Oh my god.
Blood orange is the 5
Okay.
on that one, but they're all a little bit less pulpy. But yeah.
Mm. So is that saying this is harder to freeze than the
So
other
many. Wow.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might be the case because there's a similar sugar content, I would imagine, but like it being more pulpy, I don't know.
It's just so good when it's like this cold. Either way, even if it's not completely like you need a spoon. Like mine looked like yours on whenever night it was, like 30th or something, I think it was.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like it was like 2 hours. I left it out. I actually just put it in the Canadian fridge, just popped it outside. And
On the balcony, yeah.
On the balcony. This was in the regular fridge or freezer. I feel like it's pretty nippy here tonight. It's like -7 feels like -13 tonight. So I feel like
That'll get it cold.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't even need to put the can outside. That would have been like problematic. But like, it's just so much nicer when it's like extremely cold. I don't know, because it still feels like a melted slushie. Even if you don't get it all the way there, it still feels like it. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's just like the ingenuity of beer drinkers, I guess.
Right? Don't mess around.
Who I'm curious who thought of it. Like, maybe was it an accident? I'm sure it's got to have been an accident.
Most great inventions are, right?
Yeah. It's like, who decided to eat lobster for the first time?
Yeah, that ugly thing.
Someone must have been fucking starving.
Yeah, give me that
Just
roach
boil it
looking
for a
thing.
little bit and just see what
While
happens.
it's alive. Let's put it in there while it's alive.
Tartare sauce.
Right?
Yeah.
And eat the claws. Like, it's actually bonkers.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
you're right. This has got to be some sort of accident, like where somebody was trying to make some sort of fruited beer and they just put too much in and like oh wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I just, every time I sip
One
one
of
of
those
these...
happy accidents.
Oh, it's the happiest of accidents. I always feel like whenever I drink a smoothie sour, I'm completely mind-boggled as to how anybody can be mad at this beer at all.
Yeah.
Every sip you fall more in love with it. It's like, oh, you just stop it.
Like, every sip is another resolution to be a staunch, aggressive supporter of these beers, to the point of, like, I would argue with anybody.
Staunch aggressive.
Yeah, like,
That's the new one.
I'm here for it. It's just, they're just so phenomenal. Like, the juiciness of this, it's so, it's intense, but you can still tell it's beer. It's complex. It's all the different, like you said, there's like 5 different berries in this, and probably sounded like 4 different fruits in the one that Nose has, the tropical one there. Like, there's obviously not a cheap beer to make. There's a shit ton of actual fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. When I have one of these, the next day I usually need to, wake up and hit the bathroom there because of that fiber,
Yeah.
So, you're getting your daily serving.
Regular.
Keeping me regular, mate. You're getting the actual daily.
Rorschach, part of your weekly diet. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Get your vitamin C too, and make sure you don't have any scurvy.
Oh, that's true. Because we all travel on boats.
Yep, exactly. And I feel like scurvy doesn't sound fun. So, drink your smoothie sours. It's just like...
That's the selling point. If someone did this like
medicinal
300 years ago,
they'd be like, "Hey, don't get scurvy. Drink a smoothie sour." Yeah, it's just fucking. It's bonkers.
we started a new history around the smoothie sour. Instead of the IPA getting taken around barrels across from
it was some pirates
from England to India. It's the smoothie sour so that they don't get scurvy.
Wow,
that's a skit right there.
The nutrients beers.
That's
like a health
skit.
line.
And all the pirates are just being like the hipster pirates.
All the passion fruit puree that they had in 1800s.
Well, we're killing it. Right, kept in the bottom of boats, just in barrels. I'm like, yeah, of course I got passion fruit puree. and the hipsters have like the pirates are hipsters with the pirate hats, but they're like rolled up like a beanie pirate hat. And maybe they're you know how they got the wooden hands that's reclaimed wood or something.
Oh my god!
Like in a cafe, I feel like they could do
shirts.
it. The puffy shirts, yeah, but the puffy shirts stay the same because that's still hipster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Yo, I feel like that could be a thing. That could be the scurvy. The don't get scurvy smoothie sour. That's another collab we could think of. That. I'm telling you, bro. It's so
it goes down so easy once it gets to that. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is like. See, like I feel like this is like it's like a 5 to 7 minute drink. It's like I just feel like I just want another sip all the time because it's sweet, but not sticky and sickly sweet or cloying in any shape or form, and it's just so like it's so clean. It's like balanced tartness. This one specifically incredibly juicy. I don't know. They're just so phenomenal, bro. Like, look at that. Look at
that many fruits in this one. When you mentioned it, Matt, you were reeling off the ingredients. You said there was passion fruit, guava, orange, mango.
Yeah, passion fruit, guava, blood orange, mango, and what was the last one? Passion fruit, blood orange, guava, mango, pineapple.
Okay, sweet. Because as you reeled them off the first time I heard them, now that we've got to this point, I can taste almost in order all of them. It's crazy how they reveal themselves a little later in the piece when it gets a little warmer, I guess, not as frozen. But man, that is such a complex, evenly spread. I don't know, you can taste everything by itself. It's like when you're mixing a song and you can, the piano's over there and the strings are over there and the drums are in the middle. It's like it's nicely balanced with so many different flavors in there. So, yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, I find especially the tropical one, all the fruits come out a little bit more. The berries one like the berries are a little bit more similar kind of notes in general. So like it's harder to pick out that one for the berry. But yeah, I think a beer like this, it is kind of funny because like part of what the traditionalists or the purists will talk about beer is like the drinkability of a beer and like balance and stuff. And the thing that I laugh about all the time is like, a beer like this is almost essentially fruit juice. Is like what's the drinkability level of fruit juice? We've been drinking fruit juice since the beginning of fucking time.
Yeah.
Like it's as drinkable as anything, like, so you want to talk about like balance, well, of course, like how balanced is fruit for our palate? Like our palate is designed to eat fruit, like that's the idea of like drinkability and balance. It's one thing if there wasn't some of that sour element to cut some of the sweetness, then it's going to be
a bit lost.
So these beers aren't like easy to make, like there's also like, you look at it from the front of it and you're like, oh, they just, had a shitty beer that they blended in, a fuck ton of fruit to it. But like, if you don't have,
wish it was that simple, eh?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you think about it, like in general, right? We had this conversation when you guys were over a couple weeks ago. Like when you have 40% of something that doesn't have any alcohol in it that you're blending into a beer. Okay, so that beer has to be, extra strong to start with, that you're blending it back down to whatever percentage you want it to be. But not only that, it has to be that much extra sweet if you're looking for like a balance of sweetness, that much extra sour also to blend down that sourness or to work with the sourness of the beer itself. You're creating this very specific thing that's like potentially up to like 15% alcohol that you're blending down. There's like some super low pH that's blending back up. That's the sweetness level that's either balancing or whatever. It's easy to say, oh, they just put like a shit ton of fruit puree in it. And, who knows? Maybe you could put a shit ton of fruit puree in a bad beer and I'm sure it'll taste better. But, like it's not as if, like, it's not easy to brew lagers, either. It's not easy to brew a lot of things that are very, very good. But, like, it's not easy to do something like this that's very good also. It's just like it takes, like, anything that's, it's like, people can brew lagers and some make them really, really good and some aren't so good. And, like, same thing with any style, really. Like, it's just how it goes.
I agree so much, man. This is the one thing, once again, that people who aren't really familiar with or don't enjoy this style or want to have to criticize it, like, don't understand. Like, you're right, because you do have to figure that out. You're like, all right, well, I'm going to be blending in 40% fruit puree to this beer, so I want it to be around the 5-6% mark, so I got to make it 8 or 9%, drop it in, and the base beer has to be good, like, has to be a really great, nice, tart, balanced Berliner Weiss, because you're about to make it unbalanced, because fruit juice by nature probably isn't super balanced. So then everyone has to get the fuck over what balance really means, because balance is great for this beer, and it's important. But balance is not so important for this. Or even haze, because haze is super hop forward and stuff like that. And I've had brewers admit that to me. I've had brewer, and he's super mad cool, a guy from here. We interviewed him 3 times in all these different breweries. He made in New England because he was like, yeah, but I wanted it to be balanced and it wasn't great. And then I interviewed him like a month or so ago and he was like, yeah, and I brought that up and he was like, oh yeah, no, like I was completely off. Like New England's don't have to be balanced. And I think people need to get past that. Balance is something that a lot of maybe more traditional brewers like to talk about. And it's obviously a very important trait, but it doesn't apply unilaterally across the style spectrum, and people have to understand that, like, you know what, fucking make this unbalanced as possible, make this fruity and stuff, but the original beer still is true to style and a nice, beautiful Berliner Weiss. If they had that, they'd cream over it, and now you just, and but the balance of fruits, you could probably argue that you've had to balance. How many fruits are in this? 5 as well.
5, yeah.
5 berry fruits, and whilst they like berries, typically, like you were saying, it's a really good point because I feel like it smells like blueberries. But I bet there's raspberry, strawberry. Would you say boysenberry and
raspberry, blackberry, strawberry? Blackberry. Oh, sorry, raspberry, blackberry, boysenberry, cherry,
and blueberry.
Cherry.
So no strawberries. Okay. So
yeah, no strawberry. Yeah.
you can't differentiate as much, but that's the nature of these type of fruits. But at the same token, you've had to create a balance in this one and the tropical punch that Nosh is drinking there, with those 5 or 6 fruits that have to create a beautiful melange that tastes great in harmony.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like in harmony together with the elements of the Berliner Weiss. Like, why do you think there's like 2 great breweries who do it in Ontario and like 2 great breweries who do it here, maybe 3? Like, it's not easy. That's why. People do need to understand that this is a thing, and maybe if you don't get it, that's okay. But at the end of the day, this is something that is difficult to do, and you have applied your knowledge and your skill set to doing this, and you actually enjoy this shit, and that's the best part. Like, if a brewer that forced themselves, like the dude I was talking about, great dude, he gets it now, but at the time he was doing haze because he thought that's what people wanted, but he wasn't doing it right. Now he gets it. He's doing fantastic crispy boys, and he wants to do some haze, and I bet he'll do it great now because he gets it. And that's the difference, because now if he wants to do it and he likes it, he'll do it well, and that's it. If brewers try to make something that they're not into, it never works out, and that's what I appreciate. And I feel like you have an eclectic taste, and I feel like everything you do, you fuck with all of it. You're not like, I just kind of do a seltzer because people want it. Like, I'm going to do a seltzer. I'm going to make this shit taste exactly like Dr. Pepper, and you figured it out. And that's
balls to the wall.
Yes, and that needs to be applauded and that needs to be respected. People need to, I hope we're just mostly focused. I guess I've seen like enough of the. It's probably not that many people even hating on it really, but like the amount that I've seen is annoying me enough to always bring it up, to be like, because it seems to be more people when Smoothie Sours come up, it's some sort of objection to them as opposed to like, yo, I love this one, blah blah blah. I imagine you've probably seen a lot of the same.
Yeah, it was funny. Because we were talking before that we did it the first time in, I think, April or whatever. There was a little meme on one of the Ontario craft beer.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Accounts.
They shut down now, I think.
Oh yeah, did they?
Yeah.
It was, I don't know. I thought they were funny, but
it was decent.
There was I forget. I don't know what the meme's called, but it's the one with the little monkey puppet that's like looking forward and then looking sideways with the side eye one. Where it's like,
yeah, I know the one.
They're like, it was. I think the caption was like, Rorschach when people are giving Third Moon shit for their slushy beers, and we were like, yeah, that's actually pretty true.
Yeah, because you guys didn't cop the shit.
Pardon?
You guys didn't cop the shit that Third Moon did.
No. Like I'm not sure when they did it. I don't know. I don't know when they started doing it.
Yeah, I can't remember either. No, well, you know what? If you start in April, they didn't open until May or June, if I'm not mistaken. And they took a while. They did slushies, but I wouldn't say like August, September, October type of thing.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, it doesn't matter who started or whatever. But we, the first time we did it, like we still were kind of figuring out how the best way to blend the puree in too is. So like we started in one tank and then we did it in our bright and it just didn't work. So we did it in a fermenter and recirculated, and it just like the first time we did it, we learned, and then the second time. So like the first time we did it, it was not like. We added more fruit the second time. We changed it a lot the second time. So, it was still very good the first time, but it was still like slightly pulpy. And then like now this is like an evolution to like the heresies where it's just like, like you can see the.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's like fruit lacing.
Yeah. Like the whole glass.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, it's not a good smoothie sour. I wanted to look like I had my breakfast juice in this shit.
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
I give GLB a lot of credit for like they did I think they were doing the GLB lacing hashtag thing for a while. It's
that was
like
cool.
Well, like all those pictures, it was like really nice pictures that like just proper pints of like foam and stuff. But like that's funny, like the fruit lacing.
It's not quite as pretty.
Just start a new hashtag.
Yeah.
Rorschach lacing.
Yeah. Fruit.
Got to make sure people can spell Rorschach first.
Exactly.
I love it. No, it's sick. Basically you guys, like Third Moon and you guys are the ones who really sort of like do it well, but because the way Third Moon came out, and they got sort of more attention with the shit. And they're they're the only other brewery we went to out there. They're good mates of ours, and good fucking dudes, man. You'd really. Do you know them?
No, I haven't met them actually.
Oh, you love them.
If hopefully at some point when things ease up a little bit, we can go over there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
say hi because
You
I
guys
know
would.
that they probably have a similar philosophy here. It seems to.
Bro.
I've tried some of their
so,
stuff. All really good. So
Yeah, you guys would get along so crazy. Like, they are the coolest motherfuckers, just like you. I feel like you guys would connect immediately. That's kind of why I'm bringing it up, because I want to see it happen. I really.
Imagine that collabo, see Fiji. That would be crazy, eh?
Mate, I would love. I feel like you guys would do some
little camper,
because they are used. Yeah, they kind of just got accidentally, unintentionally stuck in a lot of shit. In that Facebook group, particularly on the Canada Craft thing, and a lot of dickheads like piling in for no reason and blah blah blah. And they were like, dude, they were like, bro, we just made beer. I don't know what the fuck happened. We just did stuff in the same kind of way you guys did. Like, it doesn't matter. Like you said, it doesn't matter who did it first. But the fact is, you guys are thinking the same way as far as approaching beer in the same thing. So I think that would be a real fun collab, because you guys are wild ass dudes, and you would think of like some cool shit because you got no boundaries and you got nothing like, oh no, but we can't do that. Like, and that's what we really try and celebrate here as much as possible, is like that sort of approach to just make what you want to make and make some fun sort of stuff. And I know this is like as far as the Heresy series, by the way, the two. So you've done the tropical and the berry.
The berry, yeah.
They're the only two so far in the Heresy series, correct? Okay.
Yeah, they're the only two so far in the Heresy series. We brewed it again. It was last week or the week before. We're releasing it.
You mentioned you had some in the tank.
Version. Yeah, we're releasing the next version in, I guess, a week and a half or so.
Can you say what it is, or is it a little preemptive? Can you tell us off? You can tell us offline if you like.
Yeah, no, it's not a secret. I just haven't quite decided exactly, but I'm leaning towards doing a stone fruit one, and then like maybe a 100% one fruit. I want to see, like, let's just pack as much either raspberry or guava or something into it and see what the hell happens. So.
Guava.
Guava. That'd be sick.
The guava puree is I would say the best.
I just want to eat
puree.
it.
Yeah, same. I want to see it.
If we had got guava baby food when we were little kiddies.
Oh, mate.
Sick. Imagine that. Because, like, I even fuck with the strawberry one still.
Mm.
Yeah.
Baby food is lit. I fuck with baby food.
Baby food is lit.
I would bang with baby food right now. I could fuck a whole Heinz little thing up,
You should make a baby food series.
Yeah, I was going to say.
To call the Smoothie Sour baby food.
Baby Smooth.
You know what's really funny?
Smooth series.
Does it have to be non-alcohol?
No. It should be like
low alcohol.
No, it should be like
alcohol breakfast smoothie beers.
Yeah.
No.
Like 3.5% or something. Okay, I see where you're going there. I see. I had a Go on.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to say one of our guys at the brewery, one of our sales guys, Quinn. He was mentioning that on, I think it was Christmas Day, he was talking, he made a big spread for breakfast or whatever, grabbed the Heresy, and he was on his second one at like whatever 10 a.m. or whatever when he was eating breakfast.
Solid work.
He was telling me, and he was like, shit, I forgot that that's actually a beer and not
not juice.
Ooh, what's going on?
He was like, I caught myself halfly through the second one. I was like, slow down.
I can't believe it's not juice. That should be another one.
Yo, it fucks you up, man. The funniest one I had, just to talk about that, might give you an idea. So Brewski did an apple caramel one, and the first thing I said was, this tastes like baby food. Like, because the apple itself has that, had that, it's like crumbly. You know what I'm talking about? When you got the apple mash? Like, if you actually had the baby food and you've got that grit, that sort of gritty thing, that really came through.
Yeah, like applesauce.
Basically, yeah, but like, is applesauce kind of gritty a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit,
yeah. So it's basically that. It was super weird. I'd never experienced anything like that. But yeah, that was the first time I was like, yo, this shit is fucking baby food. And like, I feel like that's that's really what it comes down to. That shit is like insane.
Market.
Yo, it is like that specific thing. This is wow. That's what I feel like I drink these even quicker than lagers. Like, this is gone.
Man, mine's gone, dude.
Gone.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yo,
the only reason it's not.
That's the thing. This is why
'Cause we
the
keep
small
making-
cans are good, because like you can smash 2 if you really want something. You can if you like something, you can have 2, and then you don't feel like
yeah,
you've had
too much.
Too much.
Well, even in a podcast, normally, like all of these to myself, I would be fucked. I'm actually quite lucid and like doing all right. Like,
doing a
Wait
great
till
job, mate.
malevolent.
oh yeah, that's about to.
Oh, it's gonna be
That'll be a sipper for the rest of the night. That'll basically wrap it up for me. But the fact that to get through 4 without like splitting it with Tiff or something else, I wasn't sure if I was like, oh, am I gonna need some help tonight or something? But I know you boys didn't have some help, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna thug it out. Let's go.
You should fucking do it. You're doing well, mate.
Yeah,
Love
no,
it.
holding up, not too smashed at all. But yeah, no, this stuff. I think this stuff is really great, and I think the way you do it, I'm really happy to hear that you're continuing to do it and push them out, and so people can buy. Just even like a quick aside here, like people can you ship all of these, like you go to a web store and people can buy them online.
Yeah.
Yep.
We ship everything except for the smoothies. Those are
Okay.
the ones that we won't ship, just because.
Refrigeration, right?
Yeah, we just well,
To be safe, right?
If we do more of these, which we plan to, if there's a way that we can kind of make it shelf stable more, like we're trying to do everything that we can on the back end side of it, doing extra crashing time, extra transfers, double tank times, and stuff to make it to try to make sure we separate out as much yeast as we possibly can. Being such a small brewery with no space, it would be nice to have centrifuge. We don't have something like that, but just to be safe for now, we've actually put up on the website a checkbox saying when people put it into the store, saying they click in a check to say, I acknowledge that this beer has to be kept in the fridge at all times, in order to purchase. Because we just want to make sure that people know, because it's the same. I think we were talking about this.
We were, yeah.
When you guys came in, about like everyone knows that if you buy milk from the store and you leave it out for 2 weeks,
it's gonna go bad.
Yeah, if you drink it, you're gonna get sick. And you're not gonna get sick with this, but there's a small chance. And I've tested cans. I've left them out warm and nothing's happened to them. But there will be a can every once in a while that will overpressurize, and there'll be some re-fermentation if you keep it warm. And it's not dangerous from a food safety perspective.
It's like a quality recommendation.
Yeah. And so, we just want to make sure that's the case. But anyone can come into the brewery. If someone can place an order, and we'll hold it for them, and they can come into the brewery a week later, 2 weeks later, and pick it up. And so, and if anyone has someone in Ontario, like we could only obviously ship in Ontario, but if someone has a place in Ontario, or someone in Toronto, that they can come, pick it up, and if they want to ship it to other people, there's nothing. We're just trying to be overly cautious about it.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
There's, But everything else, we have a web store. You can buy anything across the province. We ship across the province, $10 flat rate. We also have the regional delivery zones as well. So it says all the weeks that we are going to different places, like when we're going to Guelph, and when we're going to Markham, and when we're going to Durham and stuff. So, and then Toronto, we're doing every day free delivery above $50 or $10 flat. So,
that's dope. No, that's good to know.
Love it.
No,
I
love it.
We'll take the heresies for the regional deliveries too. So, if there's someone in Guelph or Kitchener or Durham or wherever, if they just wait till the regional delivery day, we'll take the heresies, we'll take the smoothies out to them too. So, we do our best to get it to as many.
That's cool.
People as possible.
No, that's probably smart. Yeah, man, I totally feel that. You know what? I guess a slight anecdote. I was mildly disrespectful to the other one that I had, the tropical punch. So when I came to, we were staying at Tiffany's mum's house, and over Christmas there was always an abundance of food in the fridge, and typically I would always try and monopolize a bunch of space for all my beers. I was just really trying.
Monopolize, I love it.
You know that? I was trying not to this year, so I had in Australia we call an esky, a little cooler. So I was putting it in the Canadian fridge, just popping shit outside, as you saw in those on Christmas. And I was but I didn't want to keep it out there because it was the temperatures were fluctuating, and I didn't want to fuck up the beer. So I was bringing them in and putting them out. And essentially on the day that we came and saw you, I'd had that the tropical punch, and this is something here in Montreal. I am a psychopath about keeping. As soon as I get the beers in the mail, I wash them.
Yeah.
I scrub everything, dry them, put them in the fridge. They're never ever out ever in any shape or form. If it's a beer that needs to be in a fridge, if there's some stouts or something like that, I have like stashes for them. But everything else, smoothies, not even a question. But in Toronto, that was the only one that I did bring because it was an extra one. I didn't want to leave it here. And then it was just funny because we'd spoken about leaving it in the freezer, but I had it in the living room for probably a solid week at room temperature, which fluctuated, I guess, and it was fine. To be fair, I had it inside a cooler with the lid clipped down, and that was previously outside, and I feel like things were a little bit warm. But anyway, the point was that it held up extraordinarily well, zero issues. And then we got back from seeing you, and I put that bitch in the outside or in the freezer. It was glorious. It looked like the one that Nosh had, where it was like touch little thing at the bottom, and the rest was all like slush
folding on itself, like delicious.
Yeah, it was absolutely glorious. It was so good because I was like, I got to do this because I'd taken photos and done the reviews of it normally here. So I was like, all right, I can have fun with this other one. And it's fucking so sick, bro. Like, so yeah, anyway, I feel like, at the same token, I would not take that risk normally. So I think it's super smart. And just for anyone listening who is dabbling in the smoothie world, just, err on the side of caution and
proceed with caution.
Yeah, put them shits in the fridge.
It's one of those two that, like we've had our share of, we've had a lot of good experience with our couriers with, that we deal with, but also we've switched a couple times and one in the past, it seemed like towards the end, every couple days we were getting a call from a customer saying they dropped this box off that was just smashed to fucking shit. And, there was beers, beer all over inside everything. And I'm like, okay, well, extra, especially with something like this, if the couriers aren't going to take as good care that needs to be done for it, then I don't want to put the end customer at risk about it either. If I knew, now we got, they usually get it once they pick it up 2 days later it's there. So if I get a little more confidence in that, then maybe we'll start doing it. But, in the past, I didn't have the most confidence in it. I just didn't want to, especially didn't want to risk it when we knew we were getting beers coming back to us after, the package is lost for 3 weeks and then gets sent back to us. And, what do we, and this wasn't just once in a while. This was 2 or 3 times a week, back and, other beers, shelf stable, fine. Maybe we can't sell them, but, at least, it's not the risk of the can,
exploding up. Yeah. If the couriers aren't taking care, I mean,
sending grenades.
Yeah, right. That's really what they are. Little. People keep saying that. I've never had. I mean, I still feel like smoothies are still a relatively new thing, and if you have had a bad luck situation with the smoothie, I feel like it's literally just been bad luck. At this point, or you've improperly stored it, or whatever. I've had all sorts of styles do that thing where the top pops up,
kind of V, V
does that V thing, and I'm like, stouts and Kolsch's and stuff. But I've never had anything with the smoothie sour yet. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like I guess in my minimalish experience with them, I just feel like it seems a little overblown. But I guess in the scheme of things from a brewery, it's got to be 1 or 2% or something. It can't be that crazy. I feel like it's a little overblown in the conversation about the beers. Oh, they're ticking time bombs, bro. You gotta and that's what a lot of the anti-smoothie people are saying to me, that they're time bombs. I'm like, I don't know. I've had a reasonable amount in the fridge in what I would probably consider an inappropriate amount of time. And I kept yours via the mail. But even I just had them sitting there for longer than you probably should. And then I had yours travel back to the province and kept inappropriately, and it was fine. And not only was it fine, it was glorious. I've kind of feel the other way around. I feel like it seems a little overblown to me, but I can imagine no pun intended there. But I think it's better to be safe, and then if folks up in, but then it'd be cool. The other thing I was going to say, we touched on this when we were talking. Let's say something like Dominion City. Say if you want to say you can't ship it, I know they've been doing a lot of the Friends of Dominion stuff where they're actually bringing up beers and selling them. So that would be the perfect opportunity for you to say sell them a few flats of the smoothies, and they can sell them off to the good folks of Ottawa, who can pick them up, or they can ship them locally, and it's safe and they're able to get the beers as well, and just to sort of spread them to a different market. I mean, that you guys have participated in things like that, or far, or at least locally. I know with different beer bars you have, right?
Yeah, we're in some beer boxes here and there stuff. We haven't worked with Dominion at this point. I mean, I love their beer and it would be nice to work with them, but we haven't worked with them specifically. But that's a good idea, and I like that idea. If we can keep the cold chain going, and then we also know that other secondary spot is going to tell them, like, make sure keep it in the fridge, all that stuff, the education element of it, because that's really what it breaks down to, right? Because it's the same, it's the same thing. It's like, as long as you take care of it, it's going to be good. And as long as people know, like, no one thinks that you can leave milk out on the counter for 3 weeks. No one thinks that, because right? And no one's going to go after
the milkman.
And the milkman, the manufacturer of milk. Because you're going to sue them. You're going to say, like, hey, by the way, I got sick from your milk. Okay, well, what'd you do with it? Well, I left it out in the heat baking sun for 4 weeks. Okay, well, obviously you're going to get sick.
Milk was a bad choice.
So as long as you know and you treat it. But the thing is that's the problem, because people don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a new thing. So that's where the education has to be. And so we're trying to do our best to do that. And we make sure that everyone who comes in, we tell them, you got to keep it in the fridge, print it on the can in 2 different spots. We don't ship it right now. So we're trying to do our best with that. But it is. I've had some of the first run of the Blasphemy. I still have a couple of cans in the fridge, because I just keep a couple of everything,
right? Yeah,
kind of around, and I'm sure it's, I don't know, maybe it still tastes good. I don't know. It's maybe more of a novelty of just having something that's still in the fridge. But it hasn't popped. It hasn't done anything. As long as it's kept in the fridge, there should be no issue. It's just, if you leave it out, then there's a chance. And it won't happen with every can if you leave it out. It's just, there's a chance.
Education, I really think it comes down to it. Like, as far as, like you said, that's still new. People don't know much about it. I feel like just any random beer could have a secondary fermentation and pop up. Like I said, I've had koshes, I've had different styles. Something that was like some sort of stout recently. I don't know, it just shit itself, and it's just what it is. Like, nothing was wrong with it at all. I just think something happened, it popped up, it did that little V thing that Noshi mentioned, and then boom, unfortunately it didn't taste so good, but it happened. So I feel like so far it doesn't seem like that Smoothie Sours have any more likelihood of that happening than anything else, if properly stored. So yeah, you're right. So people just make sure they do that, and should be good to go. Y'all motherfuckers want to do the big dog?
It's time.
It's time for the big dog.
So,
the question is, which one are we going to dabble?
I want Uncle Matthew to choose, because Matthew is the god right now.
That's true.
He's the boss. He's driving the bus. He's driving it.
Driving the bus.
Driving the bus.
That's what we call it. We're driving the bus.
Driving the bus. You shouldn't be drinking while you're driving the bus, but I feel safe with you.
I feel safe.
In your hands.
Look at that beard. Do you think he would steer you wrong? He would never steer you.
It takes a while to shape that. So
this is the COVID look. Right?
I like it.
Suits you, mate.
I don't know. I mean, the tequila one.
Tequila. Yep.
Tequila, and then there's the maple syrup bourbon, and there's maple syrup apple brandy.
Okay.
Goodness, gee whiz. All of them say good night to me, so
I don't have a preference. Exactly. I'm open for any and all, and because we can discuss it, and if that's a slow sipper for the rest of the evening, really.
Yeah. Let's do one of the maple syrup ones, I think.
Okay.
Because that's it's a cooler. The tequila comes through actually really kind of nicely on the stout, but I mean, I think tequila is a pretty familiar flavor for most people who drink in general. So it is really nice. But the maple syrup barrels, I don't know that you don't see too many. Like I was really happy to see our barrel guy when they got it in. So I was super excited about that one. So yeah, we can do the apple brandy.
Fuck yeah,
maple.
Brandy.
Apple brandy
I
maple.
will return.
Go fetch it. Nah, love it. I'm down. Yeah, man, grab that.
All right, I'm gonna grab it.
I'll grab mine. So basically, guys, this is a series of stouts. Matt will remind us of the name. The names are obviously complicated and hilarious, and they're fun to say. So this is it's a maple apple brandy barrel. So I'd like to hear more about what it is. So basically, I believe it's the same base beer it's aged in different types of barrels, and then they're all bottled. So I think there was at least 4. We got 3 of the 4. I think it was 4 anyway. So apple brandy, I imagine is apple brandy a thing? I'm gonna go use the washroom when I go fetch it. You know how it go. I broke the seal. Thank you for offering. Apple brandy is apple brandy a thing?
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
It sounds familiar. But it would be maybe this is what we'll tap into Matt about and we'll find out if it's a maple syrup barrel with apple brandy or how that kind of worked, because that's an interesting thing there. There he is.
All right.
I'm gonna fetch mine when Brad gets back. So I was hypothesizing. The series is called Benevolence. Is that right?
Yeah, Malevolent Benevolence.
Benevolent. Okay. Now, fucking amazing name. But also, by the way, if people want to hear the full story, they can go back to the first podcast because we didn't really talk about that tonight, and that's half the fun of not having to deal with the story. We can just talk shit.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're right, mate. I'm going to grab mine in a sec. So then, I actually want to hear the answer to this, but basically, the series is the same base beer aged in various different barrels, and there was 4 in the series. Is that correct?
Yeah. So. For this most recent release, there was 4. We've run the basic.
Mezcal was the extra one. That's what.
Mezcal. Mezcal was the one that of the 4 that we released this one. So it just worked out the way that it was kind of stacked on our barrel racks, and they were the ones that were the most ready. But we put that same base, and that we're going to be releasing in the future rye whiskey, a different bourbon, a Woodford Reserve bourbon barrel. Calvados apple brandy and a Cab Sauv barrel aged one too in the future. And we just put some of the same base in Basil Hayden barrel, a Booker's bourbon barrel, some Buffalo Trace barrels. So we just keep running the same base. Basically, it's just a super thick 11.9%. Super high finishing gravity. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it picks up a little bit more in the barrel too. So it's. I
bet it doesn't. I bet it's exactly 11.9% and not
on the dot,
not a piece over.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay. Yeah, no, it's fun. We put the same base. We put different flavors in too. So actually, I was telling. Notice that we today I just put some peanut butter powder and some marshmallows in a split of this base. So we're gonna do a fluffer nutter version that we're gonna be releasing in the next couple of weeks.
Yo.
Yeah. So
innovation.
That's just
I'm here for it.
Sure.
I'm gonna go fetch mine. Apple brandy
stout.
Oof. All right, I'm back in 1 second.
Do it, mate. Pretty excited for this one, mate. I tell you what, apple brandy, maple syrup. I've never had, period, let alone in a beer. The last time I had one of these was the Belgian waffle.
Yes.
One I got. That was I had it as dessert. It took me an hour and a half to finish it, dude. This was quite the meal in a bottle.
Oh yeah.
I think I'm ready for it tonight because you ate a whole pizza. I ate basically a whole chicken and some potatoes.
Yeah.
So I think I'm ready for this finally.
Yeah. I think I am too.
I'm a little scared though.
Yeah, the waffles was a fun one. We put I forget how much it was. I think it was like 20 pounds of freshly made waffles from one of the guys that is over at the farmers market across the street from us.
Right.
He made the waffles the next day, same day. In the morning, we put it in the afternoon, and then we conditioned it on the waffles for I don't know, like a couple of days or whatever. And then we put some more maple syrup in, and some vanilla and cocoa nibs, I think, too, or something. I forget exactly what the combo on it was.
It was so good, man. It was so thick. It was just poured like motor oil, had that like bubbly copper head, and it was just kind of molassesy, kind of just I don't know. It was a meal. You can almost chew on it. It was so good. You can almost just put your knife and fork through the waffles.
Exactly. Yeah, it's another beer that you need to eat with a spoon.
Man, could you freeze that one? Will this go down in the freezer, or what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should put it in a can so we can put it in the freezer.
Otherwise it wouldn't.
I don't know how to trust the bottle.
True.
Just because I've had bad experiences having bottles pop
crack.
Not because you put it in like we were talking before just to get it cold, and then you
got to pop it and the whole thing snaps off.
Yeah.
Mans don't want that.
No, they don't.
This, see, Feezy?
Got it. Boom. It was the one at the very front, which means it was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
So it's the 2020 Apple Brandy Maple Syrup Barrel Aged Stout, 11.9%, and not a percentage over. Not even a fraction of a percent over.
Not even a 0.1, mate.
Not even just a touch. Oh my fucking look!
Look at it!
Oh my gosh! Baby, you want to take a footage? So the question I had, Uncle Matthew, was, you put it up there instead? Okay, good idea. So is it an apple brandy barrel with maple syrup added, or was there maple syrup barrels separately or something? Like, what's the deal with the barrel situation?
It was originally an apple brandy barrel that then aged maple syrup and then aged the stout. So
multiple barrels.
Damn. Yeah.
Same barrel, multiple uses. Yeah.
So it had maple in it before the brandy or after?
After. So it's brandy first, apple brandy first, then maple, then the stout.
What the? Look at all these different versions you've done. Jesus Christ! Yo, have you seen this? Notion, have you seen this?
Dude, I've only had one other one. I've had two other ones, but I was just talking to Matt about the Belgian waffle one I had.
I see it. You did a PSL one, Matthew.
I didn't have that. No.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? We joked for years about not doing pumpkin beers and whatever, but you know what?
You are.
How can I say not do a certain thing, right?
That would be bonkers. Honestly, like PSL is life. I am Team Pumpkin, Team Basic Bitch, all of that. I love it. There's nothing better than pumpkin spice. I am so basic. It's awesome. Okay, ready.
I love that you rep Team Basic Bitch.
All the
it's
time.
Really funny to me. I love it. Love it very much.
Oh, we actually just rebottled some of it. Actually, I have some at the brewery right now.
The PSL?
Oh, so
can you? Yeah. I would happily.
I'll come down and buy them. Buy them tomorrow.
Honestly,
I'll keep some aside.
Yeah, dead ass. Like, this is amazing. Like, I'm looking at the. I was trying to find the one that I'm looking for here, which now it doesn't even matter because you've done Mexican mole, which is like a. What's mole again? I've heard of that.
It's kind of like a stew. We use ancho peppers and guajillo peppers, and then we use cinnamon sticks, vanilla beans, and cocoa nibs on that one. So it's actually my favorite of the ones that we do. The spice comes through so nicely. It's a nice balance on the sweetness, and the cinnamon's gives a savory. It's just it's such a nice note. We're going to be doing actually. A bourbon barrel aged version of it at some point this year. We've got the base in bourbon, so but yeah, I'm excited to try releasing that one. But Yeah,
That's wild.
That's my favorite of the ones that we do, and it seems to be like a pretty good favorite for people. So
even just looking at these names, that sounds good, but let me finish. You got jelly donut, double chocolate chip cookie dough batter, mint chocolate chip, turtles chocolate, bounty coconut.
See, that would be sick.
Nanaimo bar, tiramisu breakfast, I guess.
Ooh.
A banana split, Hawaiian double espresso, churros, which are god level. French toast, Ferrero Rocher, creme brulee.
I had the French toast.
Did you have that? Peanut butter and jelly, s'mores, macaroons, coffee cake, Oreos, German chocolate cake, PSL, Belgian waffles, mezcal barrel aged we talked about, then the tequila, then the maple syrup bourbon, then tequila, and then bourbon and peach brandy and cognac barrel and dude, like, the fuck is your problem?
So you've done a few.
Jesus.
We've done a couple.
See, this is basically what I'm talking about. I feel like
Wow.
people don't know how ridiculous you are, and I mean that in the best, most wonderful way of saying it. Like, that is insane.
Get the word out more.
Yeah, fucking get it in you. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
Get it straight through your nose.
Cheers.
ooh.
And then into your mouth. Oh, there's so much going on.
But it's absolutely not overkill. Like, it's intense, and I didn't really think about not pouring it all.
It's intense up front, and then it just like,
I guess
there
I'm drinking
you
it.
go. There's
Yeah.
everything.
I'm getting the maple. Wow.
So good.
So the maple's just the barrel, eh?
Yes, they're like I don't know how, because with spirit aging in barrels, obviously like the alcohol kind of permeates the staves of the barrels, and it kind of like sits in the staves. So when you put something else in, it sucks that spirit back into whatever you put in that barrel. So I imagine that the maple pulled some of the apple brandy out of the staves, but I don't know if some of the maple, because maple's thicker, but I don't know if some of that kind of like
Was held
I
in.
don't know, took its place somehow. But there was
right.
yeah, there was like, because we had it freshly emptied and it came in, so like I took the bung out of it and I could smell and still see there was still some maple syrup in the barrel. It was ever like kind of, because you don't get 100% of everything out of that barrel, so
Right.
there was still some maple syrup, like a little bit of maple syrup in the barrel, but I'm sure there was still some like kind of in the staves as well, or maybe just some of the like the more dense aroma compounds kind of stick around in it. I'm not sure, but yeah, the maple comes through pretty nicely, and what we've tried to do, especially with the like the barrel aged versions. I mean, the base is pretty much the same in general, but like this beer kind of was not intentionally designed, but like built around the idea of going in barrels in the first place, because you something is sitting in barrels for months or years, it kind of loses body over time, and so we built the body up so much to start that even if it loses a little bit, it's still got such a creamy, thick kind of like texture to it that like after 10 plus months in barrel, it's not thin, and it's not sharp. The barrel comes through, but it's still like it's smooth too.
Yeah. It's like this weird, like I wouldn't consider this a pastry stout, but it's given me the body of
the thickness.
Exactly, like that cake battery thing, but without being cloying, which I think I've used that word a bunch, but that's mostly where I hear that word associated with is those pastry stouts where they're maybe like a little too cake battery and a little intense. You can get the maple really strong, and I feel like maple is one of the hardest flavors to get through without some sort of additional artificial or natural flavoring.
Sometimes it's overpowering as well. Like it's just too much maple. Like
because
like Galaxy sometimes.
That's a great point, but I would imagine those ones are when their maple's not natural or from, you know what I'm saying? Because they put too much artificial maple flavor.
Yeah,
right.
Because from what I hear, if you put maple syrup into the beer, it'll ferment out. If you put maple water or maple sap, it's in there, cool, but it doesn't really flavor it. A lot of people use that mushroom that tastes and smells like maple.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that you've got it in the barrels here, like this is one of the most mapley beers I've ever had, for sure. In the best possible way, because I fucking love it.
And it's not sweet or anything, because usually when I have maple stuff in beer, it's like mad sweet.
This is sweet for sure, but it's not.
But it's not turning me off.
Correct. Yeah.
Or it's not overpowering the other things that are in it.
Yeah. No. This is like luxurious. It's big and bold. A little bit of a like dark chocolate bitterness in there. Like you said, incredibly smooth. It does not taste whatever the ABV is, which I imagine is no more than 11.9. As you know, stated by the AGCO, whatever it is. Yeah, man, this is intense. Fucking hell, I love it.
Beautiful.
I'm here for it. So when
I want to sit with it and just talk with it for a while and just see what stories it has for me.
We don't really have much of a choice. I feel like it's gonna.
It's gonna tell me.
It's gonna take a little bit. Yeah.
Stories are gonna happen. Yeah.
They're gonna happen. Hopefully, it doesn't eject out of you later.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man, this is intense. I love it. So this is a fantastic series, bro. Like, and once again, I just want to applaud the not ingenuity, what's the word? Innovation and creativity involved in doing this type of stuff.
For sure.
Mostly with looking at Untapped and seeing the various variants that you've had over time with something like this. Like that's fantastic. Yeah, man, I just appreciate it because when we came and saw you, by the way, you were I've never seen someone do that before. You were putting this beer, I imagine, into 2 different barrels. With your brother.
Yeah, it was just it was just base that we were putting into. That was the Booker's and the Basil Hayden bourbon barrels that we were putting it in there. And then we filled over the next couple of days. We filled a couple more as well. The Templeton Rye whiskey and some other things. And but yeah, no, it was. It's always kind of like it's exciting to put beer in barrels, and then it's also like incredibly frustrating because. Especially most of the bourbon barrels, they come in, they're fine. But some of the weirder shit that we get in, they're like, they've been used 2 or 3 or 4 times for different things. And then we get them, and the head is like crooked, and they have a top head bung, and it's just leaking, and
you gotta figure that out.
I'm excited, putting it in, and all of a sudden it starts leaking out the top, and I'm like, fuck, okay, well, should I have like swelled the head or, on it, or, but, it's just, you can see this beer coming out of usually it's just at the top because they're usually just sitting the same way that we normally like on their sides, but it's usually just the top of the barrel. Sometimes it's leaking a little bit, and like this beer comes out of it, and it's like, slowly leaking, and it's like almost drying as it's like leaking out of the barrel because it's so thick.
So slow.
And
so thick.
Yeah. And so like some of the barrels that we have over there, like you can see it, like it looks like beer is leaking out of the barrel, but it's like candle wax. It's
like wax.
The beer is so
break it off.
Thick that it's like an eye drop like on the head of the barrel that you stick your finger and you're like, no, that's just like dense sugar that somehow
escapes
beer sap.
Beer sap. It is. It's beer sap.
Wow,
that's so good.
We need beer
trees. Putting something thinner.
Beer trees. You're funny.
Yo, that's crazy.
That state is talking to you already.
It is.
That would put me out of a job if we had beer trees.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that. Maybe in a distant future for our children's children. No, but I can see like this shit is like this is thick, dude. Like this is I feel like a lot of pastry stouts aspire to be this viscous, and once again, this is just an imperial stout barrel. It's just not a pastry stout. I think this is. Do you do pastries? I guess technically, would you consider anything you do pastries? Maybe the Belgian waffle and things like that.
The waffle,
yeah. I mean, I think like it's all the same base. There's a little bit of lactose in this, not much, but there's still a little lactose in it. I feel like
downright there is
body on it. It like it borderlines that pastry style, I think. And
yeah, it's very.
We brewed this in our first year. The base really hasn't changed much. It hasn't really changed at all, other than the fact that the very first time we brewed it, we thought we could get a decent efficiency out of our system on it. We got nowhere close to what we were hoping for, so we're doing a second mash on the beer, basically. And so that's, it's part of how it comes out the way that it does. But that's just how we were to try to overcome how much starting gravity we need to for it to ferment out to what it's at. But it's definitely that borderline. Like some of the ones that we've done are on the sweeter side in terms of, I don't know, like the Ferrero Rocher one that we did uses hazelnut coffee and the vanilla, and we put hazelnuts in it as well. But like that one, I think probably would be kind of on the other side of the line of pastry.
That sounds like my favorite that I never had.
I think I still have a bottle of it around the brewery. I think I might.
Buddy. Just name it. Name your price.
Name your price. What about the churros one? Did you have any of the churros one? How was that shit?
The
churros.
The churros one was. I thought the churros one turned out really nice. Like we, it was funny. We've been working like a little bit, here and there with the craft guys downtown. We love those guys, and we've done some collabs with them. And for their fall or winter menu, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna take." No, it was the craft. It's not craft beer market. It's just craft downtown at Young and
Adelaide.
And Young and Adelaide, yeah. And they they were like, "Oh, we want one of your like Malevolent series. We're gonna put it on tap." And they're like, I said, I named a bunch. They're like, we want the churros. So we did a little extra of the churros version, and we sold it there. But yeah, it seemed like everyone really liked it, like really heavy on the cinnamon, a little bit of vanilla. It did pretty well. There's a core set of like probably 5 or 6 ingredients that like come through the most prominently in these kind of beers. It's like cinnamon, vanilla, coconut, cocoa nib, maple here and there, and then
coffee,
coffee. Like those 6 are really like when you're building out something that's like flavored version of it. Like the most successful ones that we've done have had at least one of those, if not more than one. And so like that's kind of what I've found, other than if it's barrel aged or something like that. But
right.
So yeah, the cinnamon like just goes so well with something like this. So like the churros one was instantly a favorite around the brewery, and you're drinking it again, just like with any of these, and you think like, all right, I'm going to have a little bit, I'm going to open a bottle, and you have it, and you're
all of a sudden, this shit is like, the more I'm drinking, the more dangerous this is appearing to me. Like, it's so intense, and I feel like having a good pastry stout is sometimes not necessarily few and far between, but like I feel like that they're a difficult style to nail, and once again I feel like this has given me more body than some of the recent pastry styles that I've had. So I think that speaks volumes about what you're doing with this shit. This is insane. We shouldn't be this easy to drink. 5
being
beers
this,
in,
11.9 on the dot.
On the dot, not even a penny more.
Not a smidge over.
Not even, thank you if anyone's listening. But yeah, like even like the 5th beer in it shouldn't be this easy to drink, and I think that's fantastic, bro. Like that's sick.
Beautiful problem.
Yeah, like I almost feel like you guys are more under the radar than you should be. At least this is the way I feel about it, because I guess I knew about you since you were open. I pay attention. Obviously, it's part of our business to pay attention to it. But I feel like that maybe I'm looking at the volume that I just saw here of this beer that you've done. I'm like, what the fuck? Like that's insane. I feel like this needs to be talked about more. So I feel like I don't know. I feel that I guess it's a good thing that maybe you've got this stuff at this level of quality, which not boosting. Like this is just, all of this shit is ridiculous. Like absolutely ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And that was why I was most excited to talk to you about all this stuff, even though we've had you on before. But to see, I especially appreciate like the return when we catch back up again. Obviously, this isn't the best way we'd like to do it. I'd rather sit there with you, of course, but next best thing, I guess. And, to see this growth. And I feel like whilst everything was insane before, like this is a whole other level. And looking at you've been doing this for a while, and maybe maybe not enough people are really like realizing that like, yo, this is some serious shit that's happening out there. I love it, dude. Really
I agree, man.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, we like to think so. It's we kind of go back and forth between the core beers that we do too, which we think are really, really good, and then the experimental stuff, which I mean everything's kind of experimental in general, but like especially these things we have as much fun as we can, with leaking barrel heads and fishing 15 pounds of marshmallow out of a tank and shit like that. But like every time like we'll grumble about we have this great idea, we're like, yeah, this is amazing, let's try it, and we put it in, and then we're like, fuck, why did I think about that? I'm an idiot. It made so much more work for myself. I was thinking today, literally, I'm putting marshmallows in the tank, and I'm like putting it down to the tank. I'm like, you're gonna hate yourself
later on
4 days from now. Like you're going to be yelling at yourself 4 days from now for doing this stupid thing. And
Can
then
you make s'mores out of the marshmallows?
Yeah, what? We I don't know. I'm not sure. With the last time we put marshmallows in, it kind of like mostly disintegrated, but we'll see how these ones go. But yeah, sometimes I'll pull out like the coffee, and I'm like, shit, can I make coffee from coffee that was in beer? It just like
you could.
The bean kind of gets a little like soft, and it won't. I don't know if it grinds up properly. We tried it once, and it didn't pick up as much. Like the alcohol. I don't know what it would on like other beers, but the alcohol level, I think, in some of these beers it's a solvent, right? It just sucks everything.
I wonder if you could dry the coffee beans back out again, and then it's almost like you have to put them back in the roaster machine to dry them and then grind them and put it back in and then use that.
Second use coffee beans. That's a whole new industry.
Yeah. I've actually seen there's a brewery here that did a thing where they age coffee beans green coffee beans in a bourbon barrel, roast those coffee beans, put them in the beer, and then put the beer back in the same barrel that aged the coffee in.
Whoa.
That's excellent shit.
Yeah, some pretty serious shit. Like, I was like, yo, that's fucking intense. So I basically, it's quite similar to, like, I guess it's like putting the coffee in the beer, then taking the coffee out, drying it back out, which might remove a bunch of stuff. You never know, and then just drinking the coffee. That's pretty gangster still.
Hey, you know what? I mean, we already buy a shit ton of coffee to put in the beer in the first place. We might as well get something out of it, right?
Yeah. Get a little extra coffee roasting machine, put that. Those things are pretty small. They're not that big. I've seen that. We went to a coffee place in Vermont. We saw how they do that shit. And I'm like, yo, it's not that complicated. Just put in this thing, press like a timer. It just like does a little thing. You want to get it to where you want to get it. Boom, boom, boom. Bam. Rorschach coffee. After they're doing that, sell them for like $35 a bag, 300 grams. Boom, boom, boom. Get that money. Get that money. I'm here. Like, take my cash, bro. I'm here for it.
Second use beer coffee.
Second use beer coffee.
Everyone's gonna be like, oh, okay, all right. There's alcohol in here, right?
I'm like, no, but it tastes like there's alcohol.
Drink it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yo.
You can put alcohol in the coffee that you make from the beans
beer.
that was in the beer.
So technically,
Irish coffee
brings it back again. It's full circle. Full circle.
That's a large circle.
Oh, I love it, man. Now this is great, man. We're sitting at about 3 hours and 51 minutes. Look at that.
Beauty.
After all these tech
It's
issues.
a marathon.
Nah, it's fucking awesome, man. This is brilliant. We can hang on until afterwards and we'll finish up. But look, Matty, honestly, bro, thank you for your time. This has been genuinely fantastic. I'm really glad we all sat down for this. I'm glad, Nosh, thank you for hanging out and doing this as well.
Hey, thanks for having me. Beautiful.
No, this is obviously your podcast too, but
Well, it's good to have my face on the camera. Man.
Yeah, I appreciate your input because you are a local. You know Matt. You visit the brewery regularly. You frequent Rorschach and you understand it. And look, man, I just want to say, thank you for everything. And I think that I'm super proud of everything you're doing, bro. Like, it's been very cool to see the growth over the last, whatever the fuck, how long it's been. It's still, 2018, did we say? Come on, this feels like forever ago. Was it 2019?
Yeah,
it was 2018? Really?
I don't know if it's 2018 or 2019, but we were talking when we were having some technical issues about this year feeling like it's also been 4 years.
So so
it's been a big glitch.
I feel like it's been a while, but it's just been really cool to see the growth, and I just appreciate your for real. I really appreciate your approach to beer. I appreciate your positive attitude and sort of willingness to try anything, and I think it's something that is extremely valuable, more than most people realize in beer, and what you're bringing to the culture and to the scene in Toronto and Ontario is genuinely important, and your focus on diversity and everything you're doing is I appreciate it all. I genuinely do, bro, and thank you for everything. It's fucking fantastic. I'm stoked just to see the growth, and we should do this again soon, and congratulations on everything. Just keep it going, keep doing crazy fun shit and pissing off purists, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I'm glad we could be back, and happy to be back anytime. It's fun chatting with you guys, and thanks for the support. Thanks, and for doing this with me, and it's a ton of fun, and I really enjoyed this.
Hell yeah, man! It doesn't easily get to 4 hours. That's nothing you can really force to get to 4 hours. This is a pleasure. It doesn't even feel like it.
That's so true.
I was gonna say we could easily keep going. I was like, this could get dangerous. So to wrap it up, Notion, where can everybody find you specifically online for your stuff?
On the socials, at Notion Baby on Instagram, Facebook, and at Illnote Studios on Instagram, Facebook, and illnotestudios.com.
Perfect.
For mixing, mastering, and production and photography.
I love it. And Maddie, where can everyone find Rorschach, bro?
Yeah, we're on socials. We're at Rorschach Beer, Twitter and Instagram, and then Rorschach Brewery Facebook, and then we're 1001 Eastern Avenue, Toronto. Come by, see our bottle shop, see our hopefully patio eventually one of these years.
Beautiful smiling faces, friendly staff.
Grab some pizza, and
order.
Yeah.
Come support. Plenty of stuff. Right opposite Macca's, but don't get the Macca's, get the Rorschach.
Don't get the Macca's.
Pizza. You don't need that bullshit, but just for the location, so you know. What I need to do before I wrap up is we need to do the thumbnail. So what we're gonna do right here?
Get your favorite drink of the night, or get your most interesting mashed up can.
Oh, I'm gonna see how many I can hold with one hand. I think I can definitely hold at least 3 over here. Boom. Here we go. Boom.
Doing it.
Ready? I'm gonna go. I'm getting blocked by the thing. Ready? There we go. Bloody ripper.
Wait.
Mate, you guys are champions. Here we go. Did that save? Make sure that saves. All I want to make sure we got it. There we go. Look at us, looking like crazy human beings. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell.
Ding!
So you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast, and check out the long form audio so you can hear extraordinarily attractive individuals like Matthew and Bradley here talk about craft beer here in Canada. That is it, guys. We'll see you next week. I imagine it is Friday. I don't recall, but let's just say it is. We'll see you then. Get it in ya.
Get it in ya.
Boom. Live, people. That is it. We're wrapping. Matt, Brad, hang on for a sec. We'll wrap it up. That is it, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned to the Instagram. We'll let you know when the next one is. Thank you for dealing with us with our technical issues. I'm going to talk to Apple and sort them bitches out. God damn it. We'll see you soon.
What's up? Peace, y'all.
Peace, peace, peace.